Hello, it is me, a legally distinct version of Detective Poirot. We join our savvy detectives as they uncover the toughest case of their careers. What happened to Dangier? Crider, what do you think happened to Dangier?
Did.
Oh, zut alors! Truck, what is your thesis?
I said he did.
That's what you said. Just like you just.
Listen, Truck, I have to keep the accent separate enough, otherwise Agatha Christie will come for me, okay? It's different.
How? She's dead. Much like Dengir.
Yeah, well, that is true.
I mean,
yeah, what's happening? How we feeling?
This started like a really shit
Confused.
one-man show at the Fringe.
Yeah, welcome to it. So yeah, last time we left Torot receiving some squat sensitivity training in the hallucinarium. The students have all been subject to a grueling combat test which mimics the conditions which you believe Dangir was killed under. It's the evening of the 4th day at the Scholar. Lane will return in 3 days. What's the plan? What are we doing?
We should just kill all the students.
It's the safest thing to do.
I have to pull up my notes from last time here.
if I
It has been a
remember
while.
correctly, the number one suspect currently is
Lothar.
I think how Tora
the
worded
one
it
the
was
one lady.
top of my shit list, which is, I believe it was,
Cora.
it was Grisha, I believe, who had a spike in her heart rate before shooting Dangir in the simulation, and there was a large pause and shakiness in it, and that she had to steady her hands with each other. Everyone else kind of, other than Gunnar, who was kind of a bit like, I know what you boys are doing. Gunnar as well has been publicly praised by Orfamiel at the end of last sessions. If Gunnar dies, there's the potential that you've established a motive. Just cause another murder to solve the first murder.
It's like red wine stains in the carpet.
You get it out with blood.
So yeah, what is the plan going forward? I'm happy to sort of fast forward onto the 5th day morning, that sort of thing, and we can kick it off with a plan.
Fuck. Alright. What's the plan, gang?
You sit down at breakfast.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's probably a pretty good scene to come in on.
What am I having for breakfast again?
Whatever,
my
whatever
God,
you
you.
fucking want, Raph. Whatever you fucking want.
I don't appreciate how you talk to
So you're all sitting down in Orfamiel's room for a lovely mug of recaf and your various breakfasts and
Orfamiel's still sleeping.
banquet. Oh, right, fair enough.
You guys just come into his room after the food's been placed down, and he's still fast asleep.
His eyes are still off.
Yeah.
Tora climbs into it sneaks into under the doona next to him. Sitting there eating his
It's mysteriously cold considering he's been in bed all night.
Rehydrated cacao poofs.
Yeah. Cacao poofs. That's it.
Cacao poofs.
That's going in the book.
Put it in the book. Put it in the book.
It's in the book. So as you're crunching on your cacao poofs, you all gather around the sleeping Orfamiel. BGZ's there as well. He's filing some nutrient paste into a slit in his armor.
This Dark Heresy become very Cthulhu-esque.
What?
Going to summon some dark entity in my sleeping body.
It's more so, I think they don't want you to be excluded from the discussions. They're just hoping that, like talking to a coma patient, they're just talking above your body, hoping you're gonna wake in a kind of dreamed state.
One day he'll wake up.
Yeah.
We put his favorite flowers here. He loves flowers. Too bad he can't smell them because he doesn't have a nose.
No, yeah. So yeah, what's the plan going forward? So you've got a key suspect. I'm going to say that the students have all been, unless you guys are against it, the students have all been released from their isolation chambers that they were in after the hallucinarium, and they're going back about their days, but up to you.
I would think we would have released them at the end of it, because otherwise it would have aroused a lot more suspicion out of every single one of them. And also to release them all at the same time.
We have tracking chips that we can like throw on them.
No, but you're aware of where they are based on their schedules. So if you need to see any of them, I'll let you know where they are. Truancy isn't really a thing. Except for when people are dead.
Alright, did we
Go on.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to think back to the what's happened so far. Do we found Gunnar's knife and combat pistol
No, so
in the
Gunnar's
sewers.
No, Gunnar's knife and combat pistol was still with the servitor. It had been logged back correctly. Dangir, the guy who was killed, his knife was back there, but his gun was found in the sewage system. And it is too far, covered with shit, literally, to actually be able to discern any DNA or fingerprints on it.
Oh. Okay, so when Gunnar had Gunnar's knife and combat pistol. Oh wait, last weapons returned that are missing are Gunnar's knife and combat pistol.
No. Gunnar's are back.
Okay.
Gunnar's, it's
No,
only Dangir's pistol
Okay.
was missing, which you have found.
I don't know. Then why do I have Gunnar's knife and combat?
I don't know
Maybe
why
I'm
you've
dumb.
written that down.
Why are you holding those
What-
things?
Amelia said I would lose stabbing privileges if I didn't submit to her for Tharapapa.
So you stole someone else's knife and
Well,
What?
Therefore Amelia couldn't trace it back to me.
It looks like Gunnar
I'm-
has stolen his own knives and given them to Tora. A victimless crime.
A victimless crime. Tora
I-
rubs his goatee.
when did you get the? Please tell me you didn't steal that too.
We've been here for 4 days. That's enough.
I agree very much with Amelia that you need Therapapa or whatever you just said. Whatever it is, I'm sure she said the right thing, and you definitely need it.
Oh, you're no fun anymore.
I don't remember being fun in the.
No, there was one point you were fun. I mean, wait, no, that wasn't you.
Or Samuel snaps awake.
Oh, oh! I
Kind
was wondering
of.
when you're gonna wake up.
I was awake for a while. I kind of wanted you guys to like leave my room because I'm not wearing any pants.
Oh,
That
do you
hasn't-
need a hand with that?
Definitely not. I already have one too many hands. Wait,
What
one
does that mean?
second.
What in God? What an empress name is this human nonsense?
So
Flipping through to the guardsman's handbook for
So-
gene stealer cults.
what is the game plan for this dawn of the 5th day?
Did we-
You just reminded me. Did we confront Og about man who eats feces?
Uh,
I'm sorry, what?
you're gonna have
Oh,
to.
do you mean him killing the squat?
No, well that. I was talking about the tabletop crusade there. I just realised. So a bit of a
Oh
tangent.
yes, sorry, yeah. Og,
The detective work.
we knew it was you who changed Critter's his sheet in the Crusade game.
From the one
Wait.
who wakes to the one who defecates from like a month
Hold
ago.
up. I don't remember doing that.
So
That
we
doesn't.
we were able to look at the edit history, and it was done by an anonymous user at the equivalent of an unsociable hour for the rest of us. It was either like 7 a.m. UK time, or 2 a.m. New York time, or 4 p.m. Australia time.
Hold
So
Who came in as an anonymous person.
Shared with me. No, but I'm logged in.
Sometimes you are, but not on other
Hmm.
people's sheets. You're
perhaps
not.
someone
Not by
else
default.
did that.
Edited in the past week by Critter. Hold up.
It goes back sooner.
It's
Earlier than
it
that.
was a bit ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like August. I don't want to detract too much from the games. Let's
Right.
refocus
Yeah,
back
sorry.
on.
That's
it's
another
alright.
mystery.
It's a
tangent thing brought up by me. Apologies.
another mystery to solve. Yeah. So what is the plan? Dawn of the 5th day. What are we doing?
Sorry, the reason I brought the weapons is, did we actually we found the pistol?
Yep.
In the poopinator.
That is true.
The
The Suatorium.
Sorry, my apologies. Did we do anything with it? Did this lead us to any clues? I can't seem to find where my notes are for
No,
that.
you have recovered it, and I imagine securely stored it about your person rather than just holding this shitty gun. But yeah, you've recovered it, and you know that it is the serial number. It is the gun that that Dangir took out. According to the servitor's logs, obviously it is returned, but you know it is his one that was taken out, most likely by him. And you know that the wounds that he had, the shot in his leg, the shot through his mouth, and the shot through his temple all match up to this.
Wait, have we actually checked to see like how much charge is left in the pack there? Like we haven't actually properly looked through the gun yet.
I'm going to say, yeah, you quickly look at it and it has had 3 high power shots fired from it.
Gotcha. Well, then that matches up.
Mm.
Well, I'm not really an investigator, so
The main issue is really have a motive.
well, I would think the motive would probably still be to be with us, right?
You think that
Well,
someone
maybe
who
Multiple
killed...
people would be chosen. Why kill one person?
Increase your chances.
That's what the gunner, my clever thinking, and I wink at Amelia. I give Amelia a big old fat wink. My clever think, well, I say a wink, one of my eyes dims slightly and then re-brightens again, saying, yeah, that's my good old idea, seeing if it's linked to the selection process.
Wow.
I don't
Nothing
quite
has happened, so
I don't quite understand why we're still investigating this. Didn't we already establish, like, when you smell shit, there's a squat? And so clearly the squat must have done it, and now the squat is dead.
For the last time, Tora, that was unnecessary.
Also, you've got to talk with the commissar because you've gotten us into some hot water here.
I resent that accusation. I have never bathed for as long as I've been with you guys.
Right. There's been some lukewarm water. No. You know what? You've gotten into some shit. And you've gotten into some shit too. So you're going to have to talk to the commissar about that one at some point. Either way, I also don't think it was the squat because I wasn't really even aware those existed, actually.
The
He was a
invisible
plumber.
jihadist.
He's a plumist jihadist? What?
He's the invisible jihadist. He hides it in the Oyu bend. I only fit the toilet squad only fears 2 things. Righteous justice of the Emperor and my Uncle Touchy.
So Tora's theory right now, his hypothesis is that the toilet squat swam up through the toilet, shot him.
And then swam back down.
With his own
Lothar's
gun.
eyes widened as he realized that Amelia had suggested he go to therapy.
He's got a lot to work through.
Hey.
So we have at the very least recovered the gun, and clearly they tried to dispose of it. And the only thing that makes sense would be for one of the other students to take him out to increase their chances of being taken along with. At the same time here, for everybody else that we've got left, and Lothar's consulting his notes,
Yeah.
there's really only a couple of folks who would even seem to want to come with us in the first place.
Remember, you don't need to take 5. 5 is the maximum. Just if you're thinking, who's your dream team?
Right.
Can we take more?
No.
No.
Okay. Ben, I know you said maximum, but is it like a soft max or a hard max?
Hard maximum. There is not enough beds in the barracks. And Lane refuses to buy more.
Okay, but what if
It's
you
very
like
stingy.
promote? What if you like promote the bro code?
Okay.
It's like
2 to a
back
bed.
to front feet.
Yeah, so you can go top and tail. You can go face to face.
I think
It's
that's
entirely
probably
up to you.
that's probably something to discuss with the commander of the stormtroopers, Cleo, and subsequently Lane.
Can I send him a text? He's an open text.
He's not
He's
in
out of
orbit.
ship
He's
range.
He's literally not in system.
Yeah, but like, is that outside of text?
Yeah.
Is it a hard out of system or a
Yeah.
soft?
Yeah, like it's a
Add
hard
it-
out system or a soft out system.
Add it to chat with Lane about list.
Amelia, can you take this gun and do the beep boop wee woo? And there's what's the right term for it? You know the thing normal people have when you don't dip your fingers in acid to
Common
leave.
sense.
There's no
We've already checked for fingerprints and DNA. It's not on there.
Oh, that's where
yeah.
I was going. Oh.
I mean, it's got DNA on it, but it's got DNA of a lot of fucking people.
Well, yeah, there's nothing
Could-
usable.
Could Tora tap into his kind of base animal instincts
Oh no.
and just give the gun a little bit of a
Go on.
lick?
You can absolutely try.
Survival?
I think you're going to want to survive.
Or is that a scrutiny check?
I think this is
Fuck off, it's a scrutiny check.
I think this is
This is me trying to track
in.
a wild beast.
I think this is a.
Can I intimidate? the
I think-
two?
I think this is an inquiry perception test.
With a follow-up toughness test to make sure you don't
Oh,
throw up.
Perception. Do you want me to help him look?
Yeah, with your.
No,
Visualize.
absolutely
Yeah,
fucking
Yeah, I'll
not.
help him look.
You can't. You don't even have a
With my-
tongue.
I'll give him my perception. If I get like what's it called again? Like levels of success, levels of failure. What's
Degrees
the term
of
for that?
degrees
Yeah.
of success.
How about he gets a bonus equal to my degrees of success? Oh, look
Okay.
at that! It's a -5.
I feel like you're at the bargaining stage of grief and
Wait,
loss right now. With
sorry,
the fact that you don't
what?
have a face.
This
What
is
about-
a
I don't have perception yet.
Scrutiny?
inquiry.
Oh no,
Um,
scrutiny's operate.
Yeah, inquiry perception.
Inquiry perception.
Let's see. As
I don't need to put the -10 in
no,
because I don't have anything. It'll auto do it.
you should do. If not, I'll just base off the number. Okay. As your tongue extends, licking this. Which part of the gun does Tora extend his dainty tongue to?
The trigger.
Tora
Is it like-
Tora has got like the gun facing towards him and
Finger on the trigger.
is
Notably, no one stops you from doing this.
You notice BGZ watching with renewed interest. He's kind of leaning in close. Tora, I'm afraid your amazing detective investigative skills are unable to ascertain any new information from this pistol.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I think it's on something here.
I'm gonna turn to Amelia, who's
Both,
hoping to God, hoping to the
does-
Emperor is the
does
only
this
person
take-
sane.
I'm
Does
just
this taste
looking
like
at my
poop to
data
you?
pad.
I'm, you know,
BGZ says keep going.
you know what? I'm gonna pass. It looks like you've got whatever you're doing covered.
Yes, but BGZ, where would we find that much baking oil at this time of night?
No. I think he said sunflower oil.
Oh, well, that can be arranged.
What are the two smart members of the party about to discuss?
Define
Amelia,
smart.
smarter than this.
Yeah.
What's your character's intelligence there?
Mine,
Critter?
25.
Yeah.
There's a difference between
Smart
practical...
enough to know not to stick a gun in my mouth that's covered
Yeah.
in shit.
Is your intelligence 25, Critter? Mine. Ooh.
Uh-huh.
I think the two smartest characters probably leave the room. So, Critter, Nog, if you guys don't mind staying here for a bit, and
I've
me and
got
Amelia.
What's
will
your
pop out.
intelligence? What's your intelligence?
Mine is a nice around 30.
Oh, mine's 27. So Lothar is officially the dumbest.
Lothar
I
And yet
think
he
he's
didn't
most
lick the
dumb.
shit gun.
There's a very big difference between on-paper intelligence and applied intelligence.
Well, to be fair,
I have the
very much
street
played
smarts, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I very much played it that Alfara's intelligence is based around, standard projection
Yeah.
of me, engineering stuff like armor maintenance,
Exactly.
weapons, memorizing names of demons, etc.,
He's
etc.
intelligent. He's not wise.
Also, he's autistic.
No, he's wise, just in some
he's
fields more than
autistic.
others.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
yes,
I-
Scott.
Amelia, when you were doing the autopsy there, I kind of got thinking about this. There's got to be like medical logs for people going in and out of the infirmary here, right?
Sure.
And you'd probably have to record within the medical logs and things who had like, if they came in with anything. I would think, right?
What are you getting at?
Well, I gotta imagine that Danger didn't just lay down quietly with this. He put up a fight, right? Like there was a lot of blood, and it wasn't all his. Somebody else would have had
I
to
thought
have
we
gone
did
there.
test it. It was all his.
Was it?
It was all his blood.
It was all his. Damn it. Okay, that was the only other
He
thought I
did
had.
have
Is like
he did have a lot of defensive wounds, which does imply
that he was putting up a fight.
there was someone might be injured.
The other problem is these students could have gotten injured from various training at any point in time as well.
Well, then that would be a matter of figuring out like if the injuries they got would match with training or not.
Well, if someone who did this would probably be smart enough to claim they got it during class, not randomly.
There's only one way to find out.
Yes, that's true.
Well, Fimo finishes his breakfast. He's been eating this entire time.
Been licking the gun.
Yeah. And, well, I didn't look at the gun. Og did.
Oh, right.
We can request the information. I feel like we have already requested this
No,
before.
you didn't request medical information. You basically requested where people were.
But again, I'm still just not really finding a connection of motive. Like killing somebody to up your chances of getting picked. It seems like again already there's so many that aren't exactly, or maybe not so many, but some that aren't even 100% down for it or don't want to get picked anyway.
You really don't know how people work, do you?
Do you?
Murdering somebody just to get chosen is pretty unknowable to me. Yeah, that seems pretty ridiculous.
Only a criminal would do that.
Says BGC in his new voice.
Especially once they get found out, they face death themselves.
I think they did it with the idea that they wouldn't get found out, though.
You can't do that.
Man.
That's illegal.
Man,
It seems
Just
really
business
dumb.
out there.
Point.
Yeah, but it's 4 inquisitors are here.
Hey, you're not inquisitive.
I'm going to use that term
Aren't we?
really loosely.
No.
What are we? What are we
Drone-
called?
Drone
agents.
agents.
Drone
Drone
agents
agents?
are here. Whatever. Our job is to be inquisitive. Why
We can't use that word here, can we?
Why wouldn't we find this out? It just seems like a really poorly thought out plan.
Amelia, I have to stop you there. I was explicitly told by Lane that my job here was to not do anything stupid and listen to you guys, mainly you.
I'm going to also
Me?
gesture at Tora and look at Amelia and said, again, what you're saying makes sense, and gestures over towards Tora, who is halfway through tonguing a gun.
Yeah, okay.
It's either that or it's a test for us too. And whoever gets found out, I guess, would potentially move forward because clearly they've got the wherewithal to potentially be chosen for the line of work that we do. Right?
By randomly murdering somebody and making other people figure out why.
It certainly looked really bad if Fourth Throne agents couldn't figure this out.
Or it's a test where we
My
have to figure
God.
out exactly who it is that did the murdering.
That's what
Yeah.
I said, but not as loud as you did.
What do you think, Tora? Do you think I'm right? Or do you think
The
Lothar's
number one
right?
suspect is what, that lady with
Now-
the brain thing. I don't remember the
You
name.
were looking towards Grisha, who had the mind scraping after having a traumatic incident in her youth.
She's the only one who
Bye.
reacted.
My heart tells me Orfamuel, and my head tells me Orfamuel. So I'm going to go with Orfamuel.
Hey.
Oh no, I've been foiled again. So, there's plenty of motive, if you ask me. I mean, it makes perfect sense either way, whether it's to get selected by us or to show us up. But then if that's the case, who would want to show us up the most?
Do you want to show us up here? I think we'd be pretty welcomed.
We
See.
we killed a man here. And
Did we?
the commissar who knows us really well is livid with us.
Oh yeah. That. Well, we didn't really kill a man as much as
That's Tora,
the man died
not everybody.
in the sewers,
So that
unexplained.
It's not genocide, it's pesticide.
what? I can't even spell Zyklon.
I don't know that planet.
Oh, have you heard of Zyklon A? Beautiful spa world. Great spa treatments, waterfall showers, the like.
Lovely.
What
I'm
kind
gonna
of
stop you.
showers?
I'm going to stop you before you get further through this alphabet. So what's
Fair.
so plan is obtain medical logs and then
It's
what?
the only other piece I can think of. Yeah, obtain medical logs, see what if anybody has come in, or if anything has gone missing in there, to be able to help kind of treat possible defensive wounds.
Okay.
Makes sense. I'll go with that. I mean, Orfamu agrees with Lothar, but then he says again a bit louder than Lothar again.
Lothar shrugs, but also knows that at the very least we're going the right direction.
Perfect. So
Gunshot wounds, one from his leg, one from sitting or kneeling, and then one in his temple from inside his mouth.
no, there were three gunshot wounds. One in his leg, which looks like it was fired at him from above. There was one through his temple, which you believe was matching the burn mark on the wall, as if his head was right up against it when it was fired. And there was another gunshot wound which was up through his mouth.
Okay, so exactly what I just said, but you said, no, not that.
No, I thought you said there was one from above, one in his leg, and then one through his temple.
No, one through small entry wound from the back of his soft palate up into his brain.
I see. Yes. Exactly what I said. Yes.
How's it
Can you go through it one
feel?
more time, please? Because I didn't quite get that.
So one shot through his leg from above.
I was joking. You don't have to go through it again.
It's hard to tell sarcasm in this game because you're all fucking idiots. All right.
Yes.
So medical
I'm getting
logs
annoyed with this.
and what else? Like you've got free reign across the whole scholar. If anything, doesn't have to be.
I need to get back into the mindset of a Famuel. Murder, murder, kill, kill. Grr.
Did we end up going out to Penis Point?
We have not yet, but nobody's gone into or out of Penis Point though. Since around the murders have happened.
Wouldn't that be exactly what they want us to think?
We could do a check there. Well, what was the letter again? Was it a K of the demon's name?
Oh, from Willem, it was.
Yeah.
Let me check. I believe it was K and A.
Yeah, KA with the two
Yeah.
letters.
Is there a library that may hold information on such things?
Yeah, I think there's a scholar library. It's going to be mostly academic textbooks and probably wouldn't contain demon names because that's very much in the big book of things you're not allowed to know in the in the
Excuse me.
Imperium.
I'll have you know, somebody here is a licensed person of the big book of things that you're not meant to know for this
Sorry,
specific thing of things.
librarian. Here's my badge. I can read the Liber Daemonica. I'm allowed to.
I mean, like, I am.
Yeah, that is true.
You know how some
think-
kids had Egyptology, some kids had Dragonology, or Famuel had Demonology.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So I
Let's
think
do this. So
so.
let's see how this is going to turn out then.
So
This rule is going to decide the entire game moving forward.
so Orphamuel's heading off to the library.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, it's going to be a great
Amazing.
game, guys. It's a
Nice
one.
Orphamuel, you were heading off to the library. Where are the
Mhm.
rest of you guys going? So someone's going to
I'll
Penis
go to
Point.
medical just to get the
Mila's going
information.
medical. I think BGZ is going to come with you, Amelia.
I thought, let's go look at the wall of names for clues.
And Tora would like to also bring a little hammer and chisel.
From where?
Yeah.
Tora would like to get his hands on a hammer and chisel, and then make his way to the wall of graduated students.
Let's see.
Oh,
You better not be
please.
doing what I think you might be wanting to do.
No, I'm looking. Tora's looking for clues.
Nah, I know. I have a sneaking suspicion, and I don't like it.
Could you make a? I don't know. How are you getting this hammer and chisel? What are you doing?
I'm assuming Tora would hit up what's it called? Our contact on planet. Fuck, what's his
Commissar
name?
Kron?
Yeah,
Oh, the one that you pissed off. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, no, true. Hey, no, he owes me. Tora saved him from a toilet squat invasion. They're like Tyranids. You see one, you got 1,000 of them.
You are more than welcome to try and reason with Commissar Kron. Lovely. So, Orphamuel, let's do your trip to the library whilst these chucklefucks are off making a fool of the Inquisition.
Gladly.
So, Orphamuel, I think you get to the library. There is an elderly attendant who is there, who looks down at you from the high chair she's on and goes, "Oh, hello, welcome to the Scolopregenium Library. How can I assist you?"
That Callum fellow, I've heard
It's
about
me.
him.
Old Lady Maggie, is that you?
My full name is Margaret, but
Ah,
yes.
Old Lady Maggie, it's me,
Oh.
Famio Dionysius.
Look how you've grown. Oh,
I have grown.
Oh,
I've also lost
bless
most
you.
of my face.
I
Surprised you
can-
didn't notice that thing first, but
I
we'll
didn't
move
want
past
to
that.
be rude, and I will
Oh.
admit it's part of the reason I didn't recognise you on sight, because the face
makes
being
sense.
missing is quite the recognisable
Yeah,
feature.
yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, lack of original face. I can see that being a bit confusing to
Yes.
your memories. Yeah.
How can I assist you?
I'm here for the good stuff, Maggie.
Oh, very well. Please explain more what the good stuff is.
Maggie undoes her blouse.
I need everything you have on demonic names.
Oh, well. She types a few things into the data slate which is on the desk ahead of her. Orphamuel, could I get a fellowship roll, please? Completely flat.
You definitely can.
This is something that's very much not in the rules, but this is the best I can do.
Fellowship. Oh, actually, that.
Go on.
I only have a fellowship of 4 since my face got melted off.
Oh yeah, shit.
Originally it was 40.
Okay. Orphamuel, you have an overdue library book. I don't know what it is. It might be some bit of fiction. It could be some minor book on demonology that you have just misplaced in your time since. But when old lady Maggie looks at this and goes, "Oh, you see, Orphamuel, it is lovely to have you visit the library again, but sadly you do have an overdue book."
Okay, how much?
And she quickly types a few more things and says, "It looks like that was
£1.20.
that was 6.99 thrones."
699 is in
Six
Six
thrones and
po-
99 smaller denomination, which has no name in canon.
Oh, I don't know if I can afford that. My family reaches into his
Pulls out his
wallet.
his black Inquisition bank card.
Yeah. It looks very similar to a black Nando's card, apart from like Inquisition on it. Yeah, and he hands it over. Says, "I think that has enough money on it, but if not, let me know. I can try one of the other ones." And a family holds up 6 other identical black Inquisitorial bank cards.
I think it gives that a satisfying bleep, and she returns it back to you and goes, "Very well, Orfamiel. Feel free to. Well, would you like to browse the section, or would you like me to have?"
If you don't mind, it's been a while since I've been here, and I didn't actually. Back when I was here originally, I was allowed access to some of the more controversial topics or
Well,
books.
As you were, I hear you're part of the Inquisition now.
Oh yeah,
Did you
sorry.
know-
I'm a throne agent now, Maggie.
figured-
I'm a banisher and a throne agent. So probably should have mentioned that earlier.
I hear it all here. I'm very, very proud of you, first of all. But yes, let me take you over to the area. She gets off of her high chair, and you remember how small she is. She kind of waddles past you, and she heads over to the Dewey hexadecimal number 666, and which you.
As she waddles past me, a thought flashes through your family's mind of Tora is not allowed to come to the library.
No,
So Tora is library banned.
that is yes.
I think libraries as depositories of knowledge gently scare Tora.
That is true. I don't
So-
think he can read.
What do you think of a squat working in a library?
Dead.
So yeah, I think she leads you to the advanced demonology section. She says, "Well, feel free to browse. I'm not officially allowed to look at these books either." And
Because if you did, I'd have to kill you.
goodbye,
I'm not
Orfamiel, she says, and moves with the most haste that the ancient woman can muster back towards the desk.
Can she roll an agility test?
No, she would fail.
Does she slip? In her
She-
haste, does she slip on a
she has
librarian gown?
She has a stroke, and no. I think with that fantastic demonology roll, you are unable to find anything. There's not the Liber Demonica here. There's no books that contain incredibly powerful demonic information are generally not going to be in a place that students could
Yeah.
theoretically access them or staff it. They are chaos artifacts in themselves. A book of true names of demons would only be possessed by stuff like the Grey Knights. What you are able to find is some advanced theories on the use of true names. Stuff like a true name should not be uttered until a demon is at its weakest, and it is basically a banishing word that will, with a final blow struck, banish them back to the warp for a longer period of time than would usually happen for banishing them.
Mm-hmm.
So say you kill one regularly, it might come back in 10 years. If you banish one with the true name, it is a potentially millennia before that demon is able to recover its power. It's a much more powerful means of banishing. Obviously, Orfamiel knows this already because he's a banisher, but this is just like the very much good shit. It's a good refresher of some of the theorists.
Yeah. And is there anything about demons in this local area or on this local planet in particular?
There is
Or history.
nothing
history of
about
demons.
ever being on this planet. This appears to be a fairly standard imperial civilized world.
Mhm.
There has been, I'd say, about 50 years ago, I think possibly when Orfamiel was a student here, there was some kind of labor strike on one of the oil rigs, which resulted in a small Adeptus Arbitraeus force basically dealing with them all. That was basically the only amount of unrest that's happened in the last 300 years on Throgandia 4.
Okay. And then seeing that, I'm going to go back to Maggie.
Hello?
Maggie, do you have any books here on recent history of
Throgandia 4.
Throgandia 4?
Well, not a huge amount, because I'll be honest, the students don't really leave the Scholar Progenium. That's kind of the point of it. But I'll see. Let's see. And she wanders off and goes to 892 in the Dewey hexadecimal system, I think,
God, you're such a fucking
and
nerd.
finds. Yeah, I think it's not a local history. It's basically a report on the whole system of Throgandia as a whole. It's detailing stuff like the exotic gases and the gas giant nearby, all that kind of stuff. But it does mention basically Throgandia's history. It seems to be dated perhaps 40 years prior. It seems there's a small Mechanicus surveying team that basically were doing alongside the usual tithing. They were here just to make sure everything was going okay from a geological perspective. It's pretty highbrow stuff for you to understand from a ecclesiarchal position, but it's useful. You don't really see anything out of the ordinary. There's been some strange tectonic activity that was kind of unknown about 100 years prior, but again, this wasn't recorded. This is all hearsay from interviewing locals who said, "Oh yeah, it was a big earthquake 100 years or so ago." But yeah, it appears to not have had a huge amount of conflict. It makes it the perfect world for something like a Scholar Progenium.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does it say anything at all about where the Adeptus Mechanicus came from, like what their home world was?
Yeah, I think it says Lucius.
Lucius.
Hmm.
And because I'm a great party member, I know that Amelia's from Mars.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is what the rhyme says.
Yeah.
Boys are from Lucius to get more cheapest. Amelia's from Mars because she raps hard bars.
Speaking of Amelia, unless there's anything else you would like to get from the library.
No, that's kind of all the information.
Cool.
Unless there's something more on the oil rig rebellion or revolution, or whatever
Nothing
you want to
really.
call
It just seemed to be quite a small strike action, which didn't even need the PDF to be mobilised because it was a sort of locally thing of maybe at most 300 personnel on one of the rigs, but it was swiftly crushed by the Adeptus Arbites.
Okay. But like, it doesn't say the reason for it starting.
No.
Okay. In that
User
case, I'm done for right now.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Hello, August Smoking. Cool. Amelia, you head over to the Medicaid facility, your best friend, BGZ in tow. You get in there, it's much the same as you left it, although without, obviously, Dangir's body is no longer here, it's more in the morgue. Yeah, there are medical servitors here. What would you like to do?
There's no people?
Not right now.
I mean, then, what is this, like 5 days ago now?
What was 5 days ago? You've been here 5
When the
days. You
murder
believe
happened.
Dangir had died on the night of the first one, I think.
So I
Or
want,
the second night. Yep.
I want, to request medical records, for that day.
Cool. So from the medical records, you are able to find two things that really stand out. There's a standard things of like health checkups that everyone went through. There's a few of like the first year students basically went through kind of processing stuff, but not a huge amount of detail on those. But you're able to find two things. It looks like Sergeant Major Veld had some painkillers prescribed for a foot injury, and it looks like Grisha checked in just before lessons started, kind of in the early hours, for help with a burn wound on two fingers. It was her index and her middle finger.
Right, okay. I don't think I have really anything else to look for.
That sounds defensive.
What was the other person's? Not
So
Grisha.
Sergeant Major Veld, who's the old Imperial Guardsman who taught
there he
marksmanship,
is,
survival, he's basically got was prescribed some painkillers for a foot injury.
Yeah, I'll just check in the other notes I had for him. But that's the information. I thought, wasn't Lothar coming too?
I somehow got roped into being with Tora for this.
Point.
Mm-hmm. So, but the only other thing to potentially look for was to see if there's anything missing, like stock-wise from there. Like somebody had stolen something, for example, like medical supplies and things.
I think you do a quick inventory check, and it all seems to be matching out. It seems that there was some, obviously, the prescribed medication to Veld, and then it appears that basically some basic gauze was applied to to Grisha. Other than that, everything seems as before. Nothing seems to have really changed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
No, that
so
was easy.
then I'll just return to the room whenever we
Cool.
were next meeting.
Tora and Lothar, you're on your quad bikes, jetting off across the snow, heading east towards Penitence Point. As you pass by the barracks, you see this. It is a vast tower of stone rising up from the ice. As you approach, pretty much once you reach the barracks, you hear basically a kind of strange wailing noise. It sounds as if someone's like there is a human voice, but it is incredibly distorted amongst layers of amplification, and it seems to be projected towards the barracks. It is a voice of someone shuddering in cold and in fear. As you get closer, you see there is a vast loudspeaker array at the top of Penitence Point on this island in the middle of the inlet. There is a rowboat across the bay from you. Like you could row to there, but it is very much a kind of secure facility here. You can't really see much of the tower because it's still quite far from the coast.
So, why
So
are we
it's-
out here again?
Look, if the toilet squads are communicating with the mothership, where else would you put an illegal communications array? Somewhere high.
The other side of the planet.
That's, yeah, but I don't think, maybe the quad bike has enough fuel. Do you want to find out?
I don't think this. If I remember right, and look at the, whatever. I'm gonna pretend I'm looking at a map, but I'm just kind of looking at where my watch would be. If I remember right, yeah, we're
You're on an ice
locked
cap,
here.
basically.
The quad bikes wouldn't go in the water. Yeah.
That sounds like a challenge.
Or revs his quad bike.
No. No. No.
What is a lake if not a big toilet?
You're right. They could be at bottom. Never mind. All right. So if you want to try and take a look here, how do you propose we get over there?
Look, I'll let you in on a secret, Lothar.
Uh-huh.
Come in close.
Surprised that you've remembered Lothar's name right for the first time ever. He leans in.
That's about as far as my plan goes. I let the. This is why the alley man hired me. I follow my bloodhound nose. So let's go
So the tower's too far away to go and investigate, or
as in there is a rowboat that is at the side of the. Basically, it's an island in the middle of this inlet.
Oh,
there is a rowboat that you can use to access it, but there is no like bridge or anything. It is very, very secure. But from your position, it just seems to be a large tower rising out of the ice. They're very thin.
Ooh, interesting.
Well, what if we had a romantic rowboat adventure?
No.
But clues, Lothar.
Right. Where's the romance come in?
Oh, no, it's just something that will come in time. Look, I don't think you seem to understand my raw sexual magnetism.
I feel like many people probably don't understand whatever it is you just said. Sure. Let's see if we can go on the rowboat. If it keeps you away from shooting anybody else, including me, fine. Absolutely.
I've never shot anybody that didn't deserve it.
That's kind of what worries me.
Especially that fucking child on Scarbit. He deserved it.
You shot a child?
You didn't kill a child on Scarbin. You wanted to.
I shot at a child.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. Yeah. So you two pile into the rowboat. It is not easy going. This is saltwater. It's coastal. There's not like
It'd
a
go a
huge.
lot better if someone would
User
help me.
disconnected from your channel.
Yeah, that was. Oh, that was Og. Unless he's changed to
Or
Captain Og. Okay, phew.
Aura is like a golden retriever at like the front of the rowboat, like on all
Lothar's doing it all.
fours, nose up.
Lothar, could I get an operate surface test, please, Dan, as you're the only one doing the rowing?
Absolutely.
Again, this is not
Operate
going to
surface
be
or nav? Oh yeah, it is
operate
operate
surface.
surface, isn't it?
This is not going to be a failure thing.
Oh.
This is going to be a timing thing, and I think you get across there in good time, and you don't even get wet and chilled. You get the feeling that as
Are
you're
you afraid
approaching,
to get wet, Jack?
as you're getting closer to Penitence Point, the wailing sound gets louder. You also feel intensely the chill of the Arctic that's coming through here. Whereas back at the barracks and the Scholar, you kind of get the feel that the buildings there kind of insulated you a little bit, but here you were exposed to the ice. And eventually you dock at Penitence Point. There is a small dock there. As you look up, you see there are numerous gibbet cages which are hanging from the outside of the building, in which are nude people. They seem to be on some kind of pulley system which attaches up to the top of the tower. There are several attendants here at the docks who kind of help you dismount. You imagine they've been briefed properly on your arrival at the Scholar Progenium, so they're not going to question you really. But they are all wearing heavy Arctic gear over their robes with the hoods. They all, strangely in comparison to the other attendants, seem to be armed with heavy sort of shock mauls, and some of them are carrying las pistols as well.
Okay. So now that we're here, what's your plan, Tora?
Look, I really didn't expect it to be quite this successful, all things considered.
Me either, frankly.
Tora plans to
Let's-
drown.
Let's.
Oh no, because there'd already be a record of like if people had. Tora would like to find out if there's a boat log about people accessing Penance Point.
Are you fucking
As in,
kidding
like,
me?
people who have arrived by the rowboat.
Hmm.
One of
'Cause if
the attendants, I think, is able to get basically a data slate of not of who's arrived by boat, but basically a prisoner
signed the
list
boat?
and an arrival time and date. It seems that really there's only about 3 people currently in Penitence Point. All appear to be from various schools. There's a sororitas student, there's a commissariat student, and there is I think one of the younger stormtrooper students who are all here. Various crimes they appear to have done: striking a teacher, fighting within each other, heretical thoughts, that kind of thing. It basically, you notice there's no checking out date. It is just a arrival date for anyone. None of these arrived in the previous 5 days that you've been here.
Well, we could interrogate like these. We could ask these fellow students about what they think about Hagen and Kroll and Veld and all of them, and see if they have any insights.
You know what? Maybe it's the cold, but I think you're right. Let's give it a shot.
Cool.
Well, yeah, we'd like to interrogate the people locked in the point.
Lovely. So 2 of them appear to be outside the building right now, in these cages. You get the feeling that the icy wind is ripping into them and they are screaming and shuddering in the cold. But one of them is inside. The moment you step inside the tower, there is sweltering heat, so much so that it's a huge contrast to the outside. It feels not just a comfortable heat, but an uncomfortable heat. It's horrendously hot in here. You go up the tower, it's a massive spiral staircase, basically. And near the top of it, you find a student who is nude and is shuddering, not in cold, but just in fear in his cell. He is towards the top of it. He probably looks around 14 years old. He Yeah, his eyes are manic and wild, and he kind of briefly looks at you as you approach his cell. There is an attendant by his cell as well.
Hello, Mr. Attendant.
Attendant nods at you.
What has this bastard done?
He spins around the data slate that is on his waist and shows it to you. It gives you the name of the student, which is Asen, and it appears that he struck a teacher.
All right, Mr. Asen. How are you this fine day?
The condemned student shudders and does not respond to you.
Lothar, I think we need to access enhanced interrogation. Do you happen to have a thermos of tea?
A thermos of. I mean, he's gonna check this pack really quick and go, "Oh, I don't remember this getting here, but yeah, here."
There's a Thermos brand thermos in your pack.
Glad to see that
Sponsored by
they've
Thermos.
survived into the Grimdark.
Yeah, of course it has.
This is one of the few SDCs that has survived.
It's the thermos.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really weird. Yeah, here I have this. I think it's just Lipton or something.
Well, I don't care about where your lips have been. You seem cold, my friend. We would like to trade a little bit of tea for some information.
No, this is a hot room.
This is hot in here.
Oh, I'm fucking stupid.
No, it's a good thing. It's cold tea.
Iced
tea.
tea. Iced tea.
Thermos
Would
isn't
you
that
like-
great. It's got a crack in the side actually. So it actually got cold
Your entire
as we were
bag
out
is
in the
soaking.
Arctic.
Strike me as the sort of man who needs a little bit of liquid, huh? Now, there are two options. I can piss on you, or you could have some tea.
Oh fuck!
What a line. I can. Okay. I think the boy. I don't want to say man. He is a boy. Very very shakily stands up from the corner of the cell that he is in, and slowly makes his way over to you. Very hesitantly, he extends his bony arms through the. I want to say rungs, but through the bars, and proffers his hand out to you. You notice he is very, very thin and frail.
What can you tell us about... First, what can you tell us about Hagen, Kroll, Veld, Bannard, and... Is it DeCorb? Is that the last one?
DeCorbe, yeah.
Corbe.
He speaks shakily as if he is either not spoken in a while or his voice is hoarse through other means. He says, I only knew Veld. The rest, I'm scared of Hagen, but Veld is the only one I really was taught by.
I give him a little thimbleful of tea. Give him a splush.
Okay, he drinks it eagerly, and then very, very quickly extends it out to you.
What? Tell us about Veld.
He's a good shooter. He made me jump, and I dropped the bolt pistol on his foot. It was an accident. I didn't mean to at all. He says.
You dropped a bolt pistol on his foot,
He nods his head.
and that's why you're here?
Yes, they say I struck an officer, but it was an accident. He made me jump, and it was loaded, but it didn't go off or anything. It was just an accident.
I'll give him another sploosh of tea.
He again drinks it.
As you do, Lothar's going to say, "What kind of a teacher is he?"
He's tough,
Sounds
but
pretty standard to me.
yeah, he's tough, but he's good. He knows what he's doing. He speaks from experience.
Mm-hmm.
So please, you've got to get me out of here. I haven't done anything wrong. It was an accident, but they wouldn't believe me.
Why? Think Veld is just taking this out on you.
Maybe, yes. It's the reason we're here to make an example of us. It's the reason the loudspeakers point towards the barracks. It's a warning, but I don't deserve to be here. I haven't done anything wrong. It was an accident.
I think.
Well, look, I'll be frank. I think you're full of shit.
He does not respond to that. Just stares at you, mouth agape.
Lothar, give him another splash of tea and let's get the fuck out of here.
Right, sure. And Lothar's going to offer that last bit.
Cool. He takes the tea eagerly. As you head down the spiral staircase, you hear his cries for help echoing down after you, but his voice has grown hoarse. He is silent by the time you reach the rowboat.
Or would like to record like a snippet of it on a picked reader so I can drop it in his sick remix later on back at Deep Crest.
Yeah, mixtape is being assembled. Yeah, lovely. Okay, so I take it you guys. Well, what do you guys want to do? Anything else at Penis Point?
Can I roll for detecting penis?
No. So you're unable to detect penis. So yeah, you guys head back towards the mainland, really. Everyone else, what are we doing?
We were waiting to meet up again.
Cool. Meet back up
Yeah,
in
I
the
was
room.
just gonna meet up somewhere.
Cool. I think yeah, you guys meet back up in the rooms you're staying at. Orfamio, you join Amelia pretty promptly with BGZ, obviously. Lothar and Tori, you arrive a little bit later.
I can't believe you made me row both ways. On my
How else would we develop your lung capacity?
You know, you could have gotten one of the students at the barracks to row you. We used to do that all the time when we had guests. You get one of the random students to just row the guests.
Shut up.
Is
Did I
that
find anything out?
Is that this fagging thing you were talking about?
What, the bro code?
What did you find out?
Oh, I actually just got myself a recaf there because you guys were taking a while, so I thought I'd just get myself a real snack. I thought I was going to get you one, but I didn't think you'd want one because I thought you guys would be quite warm and energetic. Oh, you meant about what did I find in my studies?
Lothar's just going to stare at you, panting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aren't you? Is our family saying something or not?
No, I don't mind if you want to go first. That's what you're saying. I've not said my discoveries as of yet.
Yeah,
I'm just messing about.
There's
I'm
only
sorry for adding some character to my character, Throck.
No, I was waiting for you to keep going, and then you just stopped.
Well, Critter said wait a sec, so I was waiting a sec.
I didn't.
It's on
Did not?
record. I thought you
No.
did.
No, I didn't say wait a second.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, it's not worth the argument, to be honest, but...
Sam, check the tape.
Exactly. We'll check the tape later, and then you owe me some kind of, I don't know,
2
pleasure.
XP.
Favor, gotcha.
Yeah, so I was he was continue speaking. So I did some research inside the university's archives and libraries. Met old Lady Maggie, who's a lovely lady. Tora, you're banned from the library, by the way, before I forget anything else. It's not
That's
for you.
okay. That many books confuses and scares me.
Yeah, same. But in terms of, I just kind of read some of the basic stuff. Unfortunately, don't have the Liber Demonica.
The Liber Demonica is basically a chaotic book, which
Yeah.
Lane might have a copy of it on the Ipcrest, but it would be locked away probably in the artifact storage, and he's never read it. You know,
Is it a known thing? Like, would these guys know it?
I don't think these guys would know much about demons. In terms
How
of
many
existence
grey
of the
knights
book?
do we know?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
it's
think
like
so.
the knowledge of the book a hidden thing as well as the book itself.
I think so. It's basically a theoretical thing within demonology, which obviously these guys know jack shit about.
Okay, then never mind. But they didn't have some of the more advanced books. I was kind of hoping that they might have potentially had.
I'm in the
But
guard. What books do we have?
Yeah, but I was reading up a little bit about the recent history, and there has been some kerfuffles going along in the past half decade or so. Nothing much, but Amelia, I believe it was Lucius. Lucius. There was some tech priest from the Lucius homeworld that came and had a bit of an inspection of the geological anomalies going on here, and those were looked down a couple of times. Still unexplained to my knowledge. And then there was also a uprising on one of the oil rig asteroid moon bases things. Keep nodding or not nodding as I say these words work.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, it was on this planet in the oil rigs. It's basically across the planet, but nowhere near you currently.
And there was nothing there, so that could have been anything from disgruntled workmen to
would this tech
more.
priest mean anything to me other than just alright, it's another tech priest?
It's like there's a lot of fucking tech priests. It's just like saying if you're like saying to Lothar, oh man, I saw a Katachan earlier. Do you know him? You know, like
Was it just it's raising it up?
they're a fairly standard Forge World. They are, let's crack on, Lucius. Yeah.
Outside of that, though, unfortunately, there wasn't much to discover within the libraries. But it is useful to know in case we come across things later that there has been a history of anomalous, maybe not exactly associated with chaotic entities or whatnot, but there is some anomalous stuff going along, especially with the geology of the planet.
Wasn't that what the squat was fixing? Was geothermal infrastructure of the sewer systems?
I have no idea what the squad was doing. By the time I got there, it was too late.
Yeah, so that's probably all fucked up now.
We really don't leave a place better, do we?
But yeah, in medical records, there are two anomalies, or how would you say it? Not anomaly, but
two records.
I guess you have two records that stood out that weren't obviously from class training or anything. One was bald foot injury and Risha's burn marks on some of her fingertips, which further leads me to believe it was likely Risha. Or is it Risha?
Grisha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's frankly more than I thought we were going to get. You said there were two, though.
You weren't listening.
No, I wasn't.
I mentioned the first one. Yeah, it was
Oh, my bad.
Bald's foot injury.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Who's that?
Veld, the
Veld,
Imperial Guard shooter, had
No, I meant
some
Jesus.
painkillers. Oh, yes.
I was saying that out of character, like how you not like
No, I know.
one
I'm
piece of
sorry.
information
Genuinely,
you guys got.
I messed up. That's kind of interesting. You came across Veld there. Speaking of that, I'm going to gesture at Tora. We'd heard a little bit about some stuff from Penis
Do you want
Point,
to know a
actually.
fun fact, boys? Fun fact is, Loma does not know how to row a boat.
Oh, you had my name right earlier.
Huh?
It doesn't matter. We talked with one of the students up that way who I guess accidentally dropped a bolt pistol with big quotation marks on Veld's foot, which then led him there, which doesn't really feel like it's relevant, actually, now that I'm saying this out loud.
Well, it is relevant because it gives a description of what actually occurred, and we have a time frame for that.
I guess that's true.
Also, why the quotation marks? You think he did it on purpose?
I have no idea, really.
From our previous notes, you might recall that all the students thought Veld was a pretty cool guy. They
Doesn't
all
afraid
like
of
him.
anything.
Doesn't afraid of anything.
He's universally respected.
Best kind of cover. Just like how all of you respect me.
No.
To hear a metallic binary sound from BGZ.
Yes, I agree too, because
What's BGZ been doing this time?
He's been having a great time. He came with Amelia to the metal office. He hasn't ridden around on a quad bike today, so today's not as good as yesterday, but it's still up there. He's basically your work colleague that you take on all these fun trips out, and he's loving life.
Yeah. He's getting the benefits for any of the actual responsibilities.
He
He's like an
really is.
intern.
Yeah.
He's the fun part of an intern where you don't actually have to deal with
Yeah.
any of the heavy stuff of the company, where you get taken to like
Yeah.
random conferences in
He
Japan
makes
or
you
something.
he makes you recap if you want, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like everything points to Grisha at this point. However, I still find it hard to say 100%.
Yeah, I'm still very much on the not 100% agreeing that is her.
So how do you get her to open up accidentally or otherwise?
what if we stab her?
That'd work.
And then what?
Is
Get
that
them to
it?
confess.
That wouldn't make her confess necessarily.
Of the two of us, who spent a lot of time on a penal planet where a lot of people confessed?
Having someone is not a guarantee to make them talk either.
We're just of an opinion of difference.
So Tora's suggesting torture.
Yeah, that's what I guess out of this.
Problem is, if she's innocent, it won't get anything.
And it could damage her further.
Yeah, we
What
do
if
care if
she's-
she's damaged.
If she's related to the toilet squats. Maybe they sent an emissary to the surface. Have we seen what she looks like without wearing pants? Maybe she's just got lifts on.
I'm just pulling up the rulebook to show you the blurb at the back of it.
Innocence proves nothing.
To be fair, yeah, we could just kick somebody, call it a day, and matter if it's right or wrong, and that is the
That's it.
tutorial way, isn't it?
Amen, baby.
I mean, like, scapegoat, you mean the correct person?
Yeah, but sure, it is okay. Innocence proves nothing, but it also doesn't prove they did it. Like, what?
Nah, I do want to find out who did it, to be honest.
That's gonna bother me, yeah. I really don't like the idea of torture.
Well, what about the process of torture?
I don't think torture is necessary.
That's a great.
I don't think it's a necessary starting point.
There's got to be a better way to gather clues on this stuff.
So right now, we think
If,
it's Idris. What's her name again?
if you watch any
Grisha.
drama show, you lay out the
Grisha.
evidence before them, and then they crumble and admit to it.
know,
Yes. The
I'm starting
old-fashioned
to
inquisitorial way of training. Shove on some drama.
Soap
shows.
operas. I
She
think
was last
both
season
are
more
starting
than
to
Family.
genuinely believe that Amelia does not know how people work.
Lived her entire life in a fucking laboratory.
Well, yeah, that would do it. Okay, that's fair.
I like the idea that, yeah, I mean, he doesn't know how paper works, but kind of imagines that high drama like this happens exactly how it works in her telenovelas. I find that very entertaining.
That's kind of adorable, actually. I like that. Where is Grisha now?
So you have a quick look at the schedules, and it appears that she is. I think she's doing another. She's doing a lecture on imperial law with Master Linvar de Corbe.
That's hopefully going to put her to sleep.
But say, yeah, that's the guy that talks a little bit like this, isn't it?
That's exactly who that is.
Yeah. See, it looks like Warwick has a halo because of the way the light is behind him.
No, I'm
Jesus?
I'm just Jesus.
Yeah.
Can someone refresh me about what we saw in her dreams?
You mean her?
You mean
her,
What adventure?
in
have you been on?
her hallucinarium thing? I got you
Yeah,
on that
sorry,
one.
hallucinarium is what I got.
So let's see. I wrote down for combat. She had heart rate spikes, shaking hand, and trying to steady her hand when eventually, doing the deed there. And then in the written piece, she was struggling, stressed, and crying. Just sitting there in the written component, and then afterwards. So she had a really, really.
Right.
That's the info I got.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is if, Dangir had a journal, wouldn't Grisha also have a journal? Why not? Why not just go in there and?
Did we properly look through Danger's journal yet?
You did. You got basically, it was a lot of his lecture notes. You get the feeling they don't have a huge amount of free time to write stuff. What he had done was basically highlighted a selection of psalms, and you did some analysis on that and realized that, a page was torn out, which had a psalm written on it, but you're able to see based on the indentations on a page beneath that what psalm it was, and that there were tears on it.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Would you like me to remind you of the psalm?
Yes, please.
Let me find it for you. This is a big old Word document.
Holy Google.
It says, "The immortal emperor will greet me and embrace me with his holy aura, if only I remain constant to him through this time of torment." And
this time of torment.
Lothar, you recognise it as a section from the Andor family, from the section of the prayer of relief from torment, a common prayer recited by soldiers in pain.
Just think about this information for a second.
Well, the thing is too, out of character. If we were to get our hands on some of these journals and things like that for the impressions that were made on Dangir's journal, we might be able to see if some folks faked it as a suicide thing. You follow me so far?
I don't think it was a suicide. I think we've all agreed that it's not a suicide thing.
I agreed.
A suicide by making it look like a murder.
Suicide by getting shot in the knees, falling over, and then finally
from above as well.
Yeah.
Like shooting himself in the temple, surviving that, and then shooting himself in the back of the throat, or vice versa.
So
our character, clearly this guy's murdered. We know that. Don't try and argue anything against it. That's just stupid. In character, Lothar, you're an idiot. This is obviously a murder.
Also, Lothar did not say this out loud. However, fair. I don't know. I'm trying to think of any possibility with this.
So, refresh you about things about the body, real quick, because obviously it has been a while. Key things about the body. So, everything really. His blood was in two pools. There was one over by his desk, and then there was one where his head was at the bottom of the bed. The pool by the desk was a few degrees colder than the blood in the middle of the room. Blood splatter was on the wall by the bed, alongside traces of dried blood in his sheets. There was a small dent on the desk in the center of the desk, as if struck by something small and blunt. There was also bruises across his legs of various sizes, a series of smaller bruises across his forearms, the marks suggesting something blunt but metal, a large bruise across his right elbow, his front teeth smashed and forced back into his throat, and then a couple of gunshot wounds. A gunshot wound in his left thigh with no exit wound, small entry wound about 1/2 inch and singed on the edges, suggesting it was a las weapon. The trajectory of the shot suggests he was either sat or kneeling, and the shot came from above him. There was another gunshot wound, which was through his left temple and exiting by the right. Looks like it came from this las pistol. Distinct circular burn around the wound, suggesting that the barrel of the weapon was in contact with his skin when it was fired. The trajectory of the shot is almost perfectly horizontal, going through one temple and out the other. And due to your good Medicaid roll, you were able to realise as well that there was another gunshot wound, which went up through the soft palate at the back of his mouth, vertically into his brain, suggesting a barrel was in his mouth. So of those wounds, 2 of them have the potential of being the killing one. Well, 3 really. So he could have bled out from the leg wound, but there was some blood, but there wasn't enough for you to think, holy shit, this guy bled out. Obviously, a shot through the temple will kill him, but also the shot up through the mouth would have killed him.
But
also,
doesn't really matter though either, does it?
No, he's still dead. Another thing as well, there was lividity in 2 places. So his head was red due to the blood pooling there, but also his legs also retain some lividity. When a body dies, the blood seeps down to the lowest point of the body. There was lividity in 2 spots, legs and head.
But he was hanging.
He was bent over like a chicken at Christmas.
That would not match the position that you found him in.
Body was
which
moved.
was legs up on the bed, head on the floor. I'm just giving you the information. What you do with it is up to you.
So he was definitely moved.
This is all information you have been given as well. I've not.
Yeah, it's all in my notes. Except for the lividity bit.
You see what I mean about the staged piece and where I'm kind of getting at with that? Like, not necessarily suicide, but like clearly somebody's been.
But the body's moved after it was dead, so it's definitely not suicide.
Right. Although
Why
it's
make
bothering.
him look like he's in the bed?
Was he covering something, perhaps, when he died?
A
And he had to
boner.
move him off something.
I don't think so.
Was there lividity in his penis?
I'm going to say no.
The thing that's fucking me up the most here, and it's not something that's even within game, is the fact that Warwick talked about Agatha Christie at the very head of this. And I'm thinking of And Then There Were None, which is having me think that this was staged in some way, shape, or form, and actually was a suicide.
I have never read
It's fucking me up.
None. I've seen the staged version of it, which has a
really?
different ending than the book.
Oh.
I do not know.
I listened to it as an audiobook. It was very good. Oh, not an audiobook, as a BBC audio drama.
Please don't take my pre-game memes as a suggestion on my current mental state in writing this. The Creative Commons version of Detective Poirot is unrelated to this plot.
Fair. I don't know. That's really fucking with my head, though.
So what's the plan going forward? You've got some theories. What can you use to confirm or rule them out?
I'm honestly, I think I'm not focusing enough on the little things, or maybe I'm focusing too much on little things. They're probably the most useless thing I could have said in this current conversation.
Maybe you're not focusing at all.
Yeah, I'm not focusing at all.
To help us focus, let's take a quick 5-minute piss break, and then
let's do that.
Return. I will leave this running if you want to keep discussing.
Okay.
Well,
while he pees. Do you see what I mean, though, with like the Agatha Christie-esque kind of stuff? Like,
no, I actually have no idea. I have no idea what Agatha Christie novels, books, or movies are even like.
Oh, really?
Really?
They're my family's audiobook of choice when I was like traveling with Mum. We'd always listen to like an
Percy
Agatha
Jackson.
Christie. Oh, good shit.
Oh, you're such a young child.
Percy Jackson was the murderer.
Maybe Percy Jackson is the murderer, actually.
Oh, it could be him. He's stabbing with his lightning trident or whatever the hell it is.
I don't know. I think he had like all kinds of weapons at one point.
Potentially here.
Problem though, it feels like every angle has some,
something that's not quite right with it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the point. Because it also leaves it open for him to be like, nope, which I don't think he would do. But
did we ever?
I'll be back.
There's still one. I can't recall if we figured that out or not. The servitor, the gun going missing from the servitor. The gun going missing from the servitor's, the armory is what the word I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then we found it after being flushed down the toilet, but we've not really investigated who took
we
it from there.
investigated the kitchen and the servitor and all sorts of stuff, but every time like the camera didn't catch anything or people didn't know anything.
But what what it is we're assuming that whoever accessed it had to have a key.
And the only people that would have had access to it would have been the teachers, notably Veld.
No, that's not what
Yes.
for the gun.
But he-
As Og showed, you could just pull it away, and then they would have
No, but
cataloged
to
it.
get
No, I
into
agree.
the armory
And
has
into
a
the
key.
servitors
I've got that
particular.
note on my.
You don't
Yeah.
need to get into the armory.
The only people who would be able to bypass the servitor without necessarily doing that, like people who could access it and scrub shit, for example.
Okay, you're assuming that's an angle that wasn't explored necessarily, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure.
Well, no, but Tora
solved it yet?
proved that proved that you didn't need the key to get into to get. I just
Yeah.
clarification, War.
Hello.
The key for the armory. That's not to get into like the back of the armory. It's to
Unlock
access
the
the
room.
room.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It seems to go by a visual scanner instead. Like it's not the servitor works off an ID scanner. If Krone wanted to request a gun used by Veld, he wouldn't be able to do that.
But we proved with my string experiment, and then also just by taking the fucking weapon, that by tricking the return, was it? It was.
Yeah, basically, you were able to register the fact that a gun had been returned when the gun was not actually returned.
I don't have it in my notes. Did we investigate where the last time the gun that was missing had been returned and by who?
Not the time beforehand, but I'll tell you that it was used by another stormtrooper and returned safely.
Well, no, but if the gun had been switcherooed, it would have been switcherooed by the last person to return it, right? Because that was the alternative method, wasn't it?
No, the only way that you were able to work out was that if someone were to return the gun and then pull it back, the servitor would still believe it had been returned without actually having it in there.
But the last person to return the weapon that was missing was just
Dangir. So Dangir returned it, and then it was withdrawn again.
Can I tap into D&D and cast Speak with Dead, and we can just ask the victim?
Of course. Why didn't you ask earlier?
It was Krone.
I love hearing these theories. They're very entertaining for me. I take it Raf's still away.
Yeah. He's dropping some haggis.
Yeah.
I
like feeling your guys' minds stretch.
It is
Never
good.
Never had this in Dark Heresy where rolls matter, but not as much as raw logic. Like you can't just do a good investigate check and I go, oh yeah, you found the killer, good job.
Yeah, it's like actually we've got to think
Well,
about
I mean,
it
you
here,
could
which I
do
appreciate.
that.
I could do that, but that's not fun.
out of game knowledge, do you think we have enough clues together to put together who it could be?
I don't think you can tell us. Oh, really?
But the trouble is, it's always going to seem obvious to me because I know what's going on behind the curtain. But I genuinely believe you guys have all the information you need in order to come to a conclusion. Perhaps speaking to a few additional people might assist you, but ultimately I think that would only be to confirm things rather than to get any new information. But again, perhaps this is a lie.
Do we know why Veld got stationed here?
I think not. He appears to be slightly older than you would expect for an Imperial Guardsman. He is
40.
He was Cadian, I believe I said. Seems to have been some form of marksman by his good his focus on marksmanship and survival stuff, which obviously every guardsman is taught, but his was far beyond, it appears. As for why he was rotated to the scholar, you're not sure.
I want to look into that.
Okay. You can give
That's
him a
where
call
I think I
or
want to
chat
go
to
with
Kron.
it. And I think I'm gonna, because here's the thing, out of character, sure, Grisha maybe, but then also Grisha could have come across that shit too, and have been so traumatized. Like she couldn't even hold the gun steady, for crying out loud. And the way that looked was a little bit too clean, not clean even, like kind of clean, but also kind of not. In my head, with what we know from this student who, when he had a bolt pistol dropped on his foot, was vindictive enough to send him away immediately out to the Penis Point, which I can't believe I'm saying out loud seriously, but Penis Point. And the fact that he's universally, I don't know. It's just like there's elements of this that are matching up for him, like the reason, for example, why we can't see him on any of the cameras or shit like that. Because if he's really acquainted with being stealthy, he would know where all of them are, and to be able to pull something off like this. His motive for this is that he's been stuck on what is essentially a polar ice cap, where he could have been very well decorated throughout the guard and could have risen through the ranks, but didn't for some reason. I want to find out why he didn't, and instead why he's
User
here.
disconnected from your channel.
Okay. I think
That's
fair.
where my head is at.
Okay.
Hi, Sammy. Hi, Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
Hi, Samuel.
Hi, Sammy.
They're all saying
Hi,
hi.
Sam.
Hi.
Yeah. She's just showing me the pictures of your cursed pillow.
Isn't
Why
it
is she
fucking
saying?
awful?
It's awful. It's awful.
What?
It was returned
Are you
7
sent-
times. Oh well.
Are you sending photos of the cum pillow?
No,
that was
that's
between
that
us.
one.
Right.
There's no cum pillow for people who are on YouTube listening to this.
Enough about cum
Yeah.
pillows.
It's a
What's the
bucket.
plan? Lothar, you're going to investigate Veld. What are the rest of us doing? Or I'll be joining Lothar in his quest.
I want to get my hands on a screwdriver and a hammer.
Okay. If you can work out a way to do that, let's do it.
No, I'm very much lost. I have a bit of a mind blank at the moment, to be honest.
Okay.
To be completely honest, I have a bit of a mind blank right now.
Who do you think is most suspicious? And would it benefit you to interrogate, torture, kill, whatever them?
I kind of wanted to. I might just like fill up time and like let me think a bit more.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back to the whole Gunner thing and see if he's gotten any feedback from the fellow recruits.
Okay, yeah, I reckon you track down Gunner, who is just finishing perhaps a lecture on. I think it's another quite boring one. This one is about it's that hymn one with Hagen. About he says to start of the hymn, the start of the psalm, you have to say the second one. So he's pretty intellectually tired, but you catch him in the corridor.
Or like, I've got a fire in my heart.
Keep me
Hear me
burning.
burning.
It's basically that. Yeah, you catch him with the other students as he's leaving the room.
How long has it been again since we had the test?
It's been the night basically. You're now, I'd say, probably like early afternoon of your 5th day.
And is any of the other potentials there?
Not in this class. No, maybe Lem, if you remember him. He was the one who was not as good athletically, but was bolstering his faith. So he was really liking this lesson.
Well, I'll take Gunner and both Lem and say, would you boys mind? Was Lem a girl?
Lem's a boy.
Lem's a boy. Would you boys mind holding up for 2 seconds while your classmates go ahead, please?
They both nodded. So, of course, sir.
When they was gone, I was like, so give me a quick update. What you guys have been up to since yesterday?
They take a moment. Gunnar speaks first and says, well, we, after the hallucinarium training and the written exam, we returned back to our barracks, rested, recovered, and, yes, had our first lesson of the day, which is this.
And Lem?
Lem nods and says, yeah, well, we have the same timetabled lesson, so yes.
Okay. What class do you have next, Lem?
He quickly pulls out a paper timetable and says, next I've got, let me see, let's see, it's early afternoon, which means I am going to A tactica lesson taught by Crone.
You usually take that long to answer a question, Lem.
Sorry, he turns around his timetable. It looks like there's been a lot of changes on his schedule over the past couple of months. A lot of these have just penciled in.
And I have a very important job for you, Lem.
Yes.
I need you to find out who is doing very good and who's doing not as good as they should be at your tactical lesson. Do you think you could do that for me, Lem?
Yes, my lord, absolutely.
And how will you give me this information, Lem?
I can. I can find you and meet you and talk.
You give it to me in person, Lem. That's
in
what
person,
you do. Give it to
exactly.
me in person.
That's what I meant, my lord.
Yes. Very good. On you go, Lem.
Okay. Goodbye, he says as he heads off.
Goodbye, Lem.
Gunnar kind of looks at you. It's like,
Now, Gunnar, has anybody said a thing to you?
no, I've had a few glances from.
I don't care about glances or misdirections. Has anybody said anything or said anything near you that you thought you heard, but you didn't quite make it out, but you thought you knew what they said?
Jerome said, "Well done." That was it.
That was it. Nobody said anything else to you.
Not really. Maybe they don't like me.
Interesting. Maybe they don't.
Could I ask
Let
my
me know
lord
if you hear.
why
Oh, yes.
why you praised me like that? I didn't perform exceptionally in the test, I'm sure.
Are you questioning my actions, Gunnar?
Yes, my lord.
Okay. Carry on, and I'm going to turn around and walk away.
he smiles and salutes you as you're walking away and heads off to his next lesson.
God, I hope he dies. I'm really making a bond with this guy, and at the same time, I'm kind of like, oh God, I hope he dies.
He literally said, "Is Gunnar questioning? Are you questioning my action?" I looked at his description, which was, "He's been reprimanded for questioning authority on 2 separate occasions," and I went, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Cool.
I actually had that open in front of me as well.
Yeah.
That's one of the 3 things.
So.
No, yeah, that didn't really teach me much outside of Jerome was the woman girl I liked, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. So then, if no, well, I'm gonna go find Jerome, but people can do something in between that if they want.
Okay, cool.
I'm not taking up the entire time.
Who was also doing something? Lothar, you were investigating Veld, weren't you?
Yes, I'm going to be talking, I think, with Kroll, I'm pretty sure.
Sure. You catch Kron just as he's about to start the tactical lesson. I said, "Oh, hello, Lothar. How can I help?"
Commissar, do you have a moment?
Yes, I suppose. And he steps into a side room with you. I goes, "Oh, well, what is it?"
Commissar, first, the situation with our compatriots being handled. Second, I had a couple of questions about one of the teachers in particular. It's not sitting well with me.
Okay.
Could you tell me a little bit more about Veld, where he came from, and how he got to be here?
Of course. He's been here obviously longer than I have. He's one of the older tutors. I think only Hagen's really been here longer than him. Maybe de Corbet. I'm very unsure how old de Corbet actually is. He performed exceptionally in the defense of Cadia several years ago now. I believe from his induction report, slew a Chaos Champion from 1,200 meters. It was apparently quite the shots through the neck slit. The attack was not authorized by his commanding officer, however, who, if you speak to Veld, he said that the officer wanted to claim the kill for himself in some glorious attack, but Veld operated it a little bit more independently. Got a medal for it, but he was rotated back into a training regiment and ended up being picked up by the Scholar.
How'd the Scholar find him?
We have feeders on most worlds. We have an information network of particularly promising individuals who we believe would be suited to raising the next generation of Imperial heroes.
Wouldn't happen to have a write-up then for Veld and the reasons he was selected over this way, would you?
I can have one produced, absolutely.
Excellent. It's trying to get to know everybody and everything here best I can. Matter of fact, if it's possible to get ones for each of the teachers here as well.
Yes, I suppose I could produce that. Yes, I'll have to check the files. Obviously, they're going to be written at different time periods with different recruiters. But yes, I think that'd be something I'd be able to do.
Thank you, Commissar. That's enlightening. I appreciate it. Right. Well, I won't keep you too long from the lesson.
Yes, I have
here,
a
then.
class about to start.
Absolutely. All right. And then Lethler's gonna hop out and try and find the group.
Perfect. What is the rest of us doing?
Don't
Nothing.
have anything in mind
Fair
right
enough.
now.
I said I was going to go see Jerome.
Oh yes, so I think Jerome, is about to go into a medicine class led by Almaness Advanced Lucille Baynard, and you catch her before she goes in.
Yes. Have you met Albanese yet?
You've met her briefly. If you remember, she was in the lesson with, I believe, Dangir and Jerome, who she's the former sister, well, still is sister of battle, but the more civilian focus aspect of it, like the purely medical aspect of it, the Sisters Hospitaller, she was the one who basically called out Jerome for being a zealot and said, if you tell a bunch of savages not to build an Aquila, you're a fucking idiot, in front of the whole class.
So then I'll just say, what's her name again?
The tutor is Lucille
Yeah.
Baynard.
Lucille. Excuse me, Lucille, would you mind if I took one of your pupils off your hands temporarily?
Of course,
All of a
that's
toque.
fine.
Jerome, come with me.
Jerome stands up, salutes, and heads out with you. Hello, my lord. How can I assist you?
What have you been doing last night and this morning?
Praying mostly, my lord. I stopped by the chapel after the fantastic hallucinarium training. A chance to slay the enemies of the Emperor was always a good way to end the day, and headed to the chapel to thank the Emperor for such a gift, and then went to the barracks and yes, just had my physical fitness session this morning, and now I'm about to start my medicine session.
Very good. Are you not lying to me? Because, of course, lying to me would be in the complete breach of not only my trust, but the Emperor's trust in you.
Absolutely not, my lord. I've never lied to you.
And what do you think of the hallucinarium overall, the experience?
I think it is a phenomenal opportunity to experience fighting in different battlefields that aren't a polar ice cap, but I'm sure it's nothing next to the real thing of being on the battlefield and being able to slay enemies myself.
And what about yesterday's one in particular?
Sorry, yesterday's one. What do you mean by that? This is out of character for me.
Oh, okay. Isn't that like, wasn't it yesterday we had the hallucinarium stuff?
Yes. Sorry,
and
that's
like
why
we made them.
Yeah.
And we made them go kill.
Yeah, she said.
Drangia?
Yes, she said. I thought it was a fantastic test to see if we'd be willing to execute members of our own cohorts, which is obviously Heresy overrules everything, and it must be dealt with thoroughly. I hope you found my performance satisfactory, my lord.
Very satisfactory, very satisfactory.
She smiles genuinely at that.
Okay. And she doesn't seem at all uneasy or anything. It all seems quite...
She doesn't seem on edge. If anything, she quite likes talking to you, it seems.
Yeah. Carry on, Jerome.
Yes,
Jerome?
my lord.
Jerome.
Thank you, my lord. And she heads back to her medicine lesson.
Right. I don't think it's Jerome, guys. That's me out of character, by the way.
I don't think it is either.
No, I think Jerome's pretty safe. Zealotry, but safe. I want Jerome in our team, to be honest.
To be fair, Jerome would make a very good trooper.
I can see in like a firefight situation where pinned down, Jerome would be the, if you go back to the Dawn of War 1 opening cinematic, Jerome would be the one carrying the flag up the hill, planting it.
Absolutely.
I think that's fair. So, yeah, what's the next plan then? Oh, Lothar, actually, yeah, I think as you're heading back, I think an attendant, basically, as he's about to start a lesson, Kron has basically got an attendant to do this to you and has just forwarded you basically a selection of the introductory reports of all the different people. I won't obviously read you out these full, huge documents, but each one kind of has an abstract at the front which summarizes their reasons for recruiting them. Hagen is the oldest one. It says exceptional performance alongside the Vestroyan Firstborn as part of a Black Crusade, retaking a planet. It basically said he was a phenomenal leader, particularly with younger recruits as part of Vestroyan Firstborn. Obviously, their recruitment strategy means that you have a mixed age of inductees. So he was particularly working well with the younger troops and was basically picked up by the recruiting group to say, yes, he'd be good with these guys. Kron was picked up after a written recommendation from the commissar that you guys met on Buntrix, who was the one who, if you remember, Orfamiel interrogated. Intimidated.
But see, I didn't interrogate any commissars.
You intimidated her.
I didn't intimidate one.
And
in my mind, the commissar is very much like a submarine. All you have to do is just give it a good waggle of the eyebrows and let them know who's boss, and then that's you sorted.
But basically, this matches up to the letter he sent you with the bolt pistol, basically saying he has been rotated back towards training, back towards the Scholar Progenium, whilst he adjusts to his new leg. But it kind of implies that this is a temporary thing. He's a fully fledged commissar now. During the course of this, he was promoted from junior commissar when you found him and sawed off his leg to a full-fledged commissar. There's the kind of implication that this is more of a temporary thing. He'll be here for maybe 10 years before moving back to the front line. Veld, it's much as it says, Lothar. You got the specific citation for him earning the medal. It's not signed by his commanding officer. It's by that commanding officer's commanding officer. It comes from, a general. It's quite an impressive accolade that he's got. It's not like the Star of Terror, but it's up there with, it's a Acadian specific medal. It's not one that you're particularly familiar with. Linvar de Corbet seems to have been picked up due to his amazing knowledge, particularly of imperial history. He appears to be quite a well-travelled individual. There's a kind of veiled backhanded compliment saying that he travelled around a lot. He didn't seem to adjust well to speaking to anyone, so moved on quite quickly. But he seems to have been a good choice for the scholar. There's a note about him testing students' endurance. Amonis Advanced Lucille Baynard, similarly to Hagen, seemed to be better with younger recruits as part of the Sisters Sororitas, rather than the older ones. Was quite young when she was picked up by the scholar, but there was a kind of idea that her ways of thinking in terms of being more pluralist with her perception of imperial faith was more of a beneficiary to newer recruits as part of Scholar Progenium, rather than just raising zealots, raising some that can actually work effectively alongside other imperial forces. Does that help?
It does. I have two questions. First off,
Okay.
with the Veld
Mhm.
and being signed by his commanding officer, is there any mention in that record of the fact that he disobeyed a direct order?
No.
So it's been scrubbed. Okay. Second, de Corbet, and you had said that he has a tendency, I want to make sure I heard you right, tendency of testing students' limits.
In terms
what
of
is that?
It seems to mostly obviously he's very non-combat focused, but it seems to have, they've run a few background checks, and it seems that as you flick through the personality section, most people kind of said, yeah, he was great to work with for a few weeks, and then got very, very tiring to deal with quickly.
What does it speak about any of his techniques or anything like that he would use to test people's limits?
It's mostly how he speaks socially,
Oh.
in terms of he's very good at his job, and everyone thought he was good at it. But anything outside of his work seemed to be very, very not within his comfort zone. It was very much his fantastic knowledge of imperial history. Most of this is from historical sites he travelled to. He appears to have gone with various ecclesiastical and mechanicus groups as well on this, visiting shrine worlds and stuff, doing some analyses. But all of the references, if you like, kind of comment on his lack of social skills.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Thank you. I'm gonna make sure that I've got these tucked under the armpit there, and then trying to continue along to meet up with everybody.
Perfect. So you all meet up again. What's the plan?
To share what I know at the very least. I don't know about everybody else.
I hate that I just feel so dumb.
Yeah, has that changed your mind on anything?
Mine did a little bit.
Okay, and what now? What do you think differently?
Out of character, a part of me feels like Veld has a motive. Frankly,
You just kill one random student.
No. I mean, there's evidence that he is vindictive towards the students who are then going to move on to something that he can no longer do.
It's literally all of them.
Yes, it is. And now there's an opportunity where 4th Throne agents are coming to literally recruit people for the Inquisition, in order to continue to fight the good fight while he sits here,
But why
aged.
now?
Why not? Because we're here, I would think.
And why not
I-
just kill all of them? Because all
That
of
would
them
be,
can move
but I
on.
feel like it'd be exactly the wrong time to do it.
Unless
do
you
it-
thought
Why
But-
do it? Why do it now when there are people here that can investigate it?
to prove his worth.
How does that prove anything other than he's a murderer?
It could be that he's not proving anything, just panicking and he's running out of time.
That's a potential there too. He sees that somebody really, really successful is about to move on, panicked, and killed him in cold blood potentially.
Yeah, but we were going to pick up more than one person, so
Right. We were. And he would definitely have been given that we would have been like, okay, absolutely, we're taking him no matter what.
okay. So why hasn't he killed Gunner by now? Who's clearly been
I'm kind of worried about that, frankly.
Veld was there as well when you were complimenting Gunner.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, that's some of the threads that are kind of connecting in my
And
head
how
a
many
little bit.
students have moved on since he's been here?
This is the first recorded murder at Scolopatronium, and he's
No,
been
how
here
many
probably, let's say 30 years.
It's
Well,
also
how many students has he seen go off to do
There'll be
other stuff?
thousands.
Yeah, so why kill this guy?
how many have gone off to the Inquisition?
A slim percentage. I'd
Guilty.
say like, yeah, one Nathaniel. I would say probably like 0.5%, but it's definitely some.
I don't know. I can see motive linking up in this way because
So your two suspects seem to be Grisha and Veld right now.
right.
Okay.
Those are the two main ones I've got in my head. I genuinely don't think it's her. I think it's a red herring. The fact that she burned her fingertips or the two like fingers there wouldn't match up
It didn't say where on the fingers it was
necessarily.
burned, just a burn on two fingers, her index and middle finger.
Right, which I can't even think of a scenario where she'd be like, I don't know, holding the barrel of the las pistol or something like that, where she would burn her fingers in some way, shape, or form. Unless trying to wrestle it away, but there were still 3 shots that were made, and all 3 seem to have at least made contact with Dengar.
Mm-hmm.
So unless, right, again, Agatha Christie style, which I know is outside of the game, but whatever. But if she was, for example, trying to wrestle the gun away from Dangir or something like that, I could see that being the case.
Not
Or trying to.
innocent. Like as was discussed before, this mind scrape thing may not have worked 100%. Or who cares? She might have got mind scraped, and she still just wanted to kill somebody. Like it doesn't really that is not necessarily a factor. Hell, maybe she got mind scraped and it fucked her mind up.
I think that's a given that her mind has gotten fucked up because we've been able to see that that mind scrape hasn't been 100% through the testing we did previously. The way she reacted, for example, very much says that yes, she's still having some kind of a traumatic response to the shit around her.
Yeah, but that could also be because she's the guilty one.
Yes, absolutely her. It could be either one.
Sounds like a
Either
good
way.
old-fashioned interrogation is in order.
Oh God. Oh no.
Nathaniel, get ready.
I'm-
If this is something that you
Nathaniel
guys are
always
intent
the
on,
eviscerator.
if you guys are intent on doing that, count me out. I don't want to be a part of that.
Coward.
Like, it's not interrogation if they live at the end. It's just questioning. Wait, what was the rules of interrogation again?
Starting to sound like the arbitrator.
Interrogation is where you stand at either end of the court and then one person serves and then it goes 15, 30, 40 game.
I thought it was golf.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yahtzee. Anyway, so I don't know. That's where my head is at. There's some things that are connecting for me for Veld. There's a lot that's connecting for me for Grisha, but all of hers seem less like she was a willing participant.
Okay. So,
I don't know.
what do we want to do then? I love discussing theories, but we've got to work out how to turn these theories into action.
Into action.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys want to go through with interrogation, fine. I'm gonna stick up in the room, and I guess see if I can work out the plumbing problems on my own that you guys interrupted halfway through.
I'm still thinking there might be some stuff to what was the word looking for? Geothermal, geological issues
Yeah.
going on here.
You think an
That's still
earthquake
very
killed
suspicious to me. What?
You think an earthquake killed Dangir?
Not an earthquake, but I feel everything's linked. It's like Chekhov's gun kind of deal.
Not everything's linked.
That's exactly what you say
Like,
if
you
you thought
asked-
I was getting close to your link.
You asked for planetary information, and that was something you pulled away as, oh, that's interesting. Doesn't necessarily mean it's linked to the murder. It might be, but it also might not be. Think about why an earthquake 150 years ago would be linked to current events, if it is.
Butterfly
In the
effect.
world of 40k or universe of 40k, there's no such thing as coincidences. What is there?
Innocence proves nothing, planet.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no such thing as a coincidence. The fact that you're listening to this right now means that our energies are connected.
Exactly.
up.
I don't remember the rest of it.
So what's the plan then? So interrogate Grisha whilst Lothar has a smoke?
Yeah.
Or does Lothar want to go chat to Veld?
Or does Lothar want to go good cop? Then we go bad cop.
Nope.
We
Lothar
all
wants
go bad
absolutely
cop.
nothing to do with that.
No, isn't it? You go first and see if you can get some questions the nice way, and then you leave, and then that's good cop bit over.
No, I want no part of this.
So you don't want to potentially give her an out, which is completely non-violent. That's pretty weird.
That's a bit. I agree with Freaky Head over here.
Bonjour.
That's the weirdest form of low gothic I've ever heard. Look, I'm not interested in this one. Count me out.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
then, so more violence on her because of your actions. Got it.
Now you're starting to sound like
I
my
like-
mom.
I like how Orpheum's threatening this as if it's something that's inescapable, but in fact it's saying,
Yeah,
I'm
what
going
a-
to cause more violence on her because you're not.
What a gaslighting piece of shit you are.
Me? No.
Yeah.
No.
No, never.
Cool.
Don't we get that far.
So is that the plan then? We're going to go interrogate Grisha.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's
Unless
leading?
unless
unless-
Amelia would like to pipe up with something new.
I mean, talk to her first, I guess. We don't go straight into interrogation.
like a plan. I'm going to say it's like early evening. People are just winding down their last class of the day. You can summon Grisha to you if you wish.
Well, we
I
have
mean-
dinner first.
Yeah, have dinner first. Of course, you can't interrogate on an empty stomach, can you?
Not barbarians.
Yeah.
I'll be there for this too. I just don't know what. I'm just struggling with what to ask. I just
Sure.
don't know anymore.
Fair enough. What are you all having for dinner?
Dora's having a
Ooh.
cheeseburger. Wait, what is the closest to Futterux?
As in, the closest food similar to it, or which is the closest one?
Both. Is there a Futterux? Is it Futterux night at the Canteenery?
No, there is the Fudderux on this planet, but it's genuinely about a half day of like in orbit flight to get there.
How much of an abuse of resources?
Deliveroo.
I mean,
Can we
straight
get an air package of
Yeah.
Futter's Rock?
It's farther down the polar ice cap. There's like a Mars Junior.
So, yeah, I reckon Rob Brydon in the canteen could knock you up a good Fudder burger.
Yeah,
Can I get sushi?
Yeah, he could do that.
I'll get some sushi.
And here you go, boys. Here's your lovely food, he says as he brings it in.
That's not enough food.
Oh, my apologies, Orfamiel. That was just a starter. Here we go.
Ah,
And he heads out and he brings you the full platter that you obviously requested in advance of your visit here. Yeah, he heads off here. Have a good one. And he disappears.
wait, there's still not enough.
Oh, my mistake. Here you go. And he gets out your dessert.
Where's my drink? Diet Coke.
Oh, how could I forget? He says as he brings you a delicious diet proprietary Coca-Cola.
Your Rob Brydon bothers me.
And
And some sauce.
he lifts up one of the
What fucking monster are you?
lids.
Is having sauce with your fucking sushi?
Soy sauce.
He
Oh,
lifts
yeah.
up the lid on one of it. It's one of those little metal ones, and it reveals any sauce you could want. He says, "Well, boys, I've got to go now. Farewell."
Oh, what about my second sauce? Wasabi. There's no wasabi here. That's not a sauce.
Check under the second platter, he says as he disappears.
It's a
I mean,
bunch
that
of-
literally is like he pieces out and he fades into the distance.
It's a squished portion of wasabi.
It's
Oh,
green-dyed
he's really good at that.
Oh, he seems to be really keen to like just get away as fast as possible, didn't he? That was
Rob
strange.
Brydon is the fourth Chaos God. It's no god of cooking.
Slaanesh.
Lovely. So yeah, you have your dinner. It's good food. You're being treated like kings here. It's better than what you get on the Ipcress. Yeah. Post dinner, what were you doing? Demonology.
I don't trust the food. I threw it all out.
Okay. You're gonna stay hungry.
I had to ring my bell for more food.
No one answers. What would you guys like to do?
Yeah. Do we have the is the hallucinarium free?
Yeah, the hallucinarium is free.
Yeah, let's use that as the office space.
Perfect. You head down to the hallucinarium, and by you I mean Emilia or Famiel Tora, and I assume BGZ. Who's going to come and sit into basically one of the booths in the hallucinarium. Obviously, this is all rigged up. It's basically like a little VR room with the possibility of injecting drugs into people. You can run the pre-run programs, but it's very much a existing thing. You can't really edit it on the fly, except for maybe if you've got some good tech stuff on you. But yeah, I take it you've summoned Grisha there, who nervously awaits you. Sort of bows her head as you all approach.
Grisha, it's good to see you again.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, no, it won't be for you, but us. Yeah. We have a quick question.
Yes, my lord.
Are you going to answer us honestly?
Of course, my lord.
Yeah, you sure?
Yes.
Ask a question, Tora.
I take it you've taken her to the room and she sat down and.
Yeah, she sat
Yeah,
down. She's in
cool.
the chair thing.
Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Oh, I've not got to that bit yet. Don't spoil us.
Oh,
Don't spoil us.
I'm
I'll be
sorry.
right back.
She has not put her name in the goblet of fire. It's actually, now that she's here, you can see that there is a burn mark running between these two fingers across the two knuckles here. The skin is slightly scalded.
Yeah, I'll step forward.
Sorry, it's on her left hand.
I want to ask, how did you burn your fingers?
I dropped a candle. I tried to catch it and the wax scalded me.
Is that like what do you call it? The damage that I'm seeing, is it relevant to that? Like,
It looks like, yeah, it does appear to be a burn.
Right, uno memento, someone's telling me.
Okay, it does appear to be a burn of something small and hot.
yeah, but versus a las pistol or whatever.
It'd be
Well, I guess
impossible
the
to say. It's been a
distance,
couple of
yeah.
days since an injury has been formed. Could be.
Like, when did you burn your fingers?
It was the second day you've been here. I went to the infirmary. It was very painful.
Does that match up with the same day
That does
it
match up,
happened?
yes.
Okay. Where else were you that day?
I was in my lessons and I spent time in my barracks.
What were you doing in your barracks?
I was resting. I was praying.
Who is around you in your barracks? You know, who are your
User entered
neighbors?
your channel.
Well, who's? Oh, hello, Dan. We're playing Dark Heresy, so don't say fuck or bugger. She says, Hans is a few rooms over. I don't really know my immediate neighbours. I know Dangir's room is just round the corner. We used to meet to go jogging every now and then.
What else did you used to do with Dangir?
Nothing much. He was nice. We jogged together, but we didn't really know each other too well. He was a bit distant because of the whole being kept back a year thing. But I liked him. He was nice.
Hello. Sorry.
He is nice, she says, not knowing that he's.
I'm gonna
Well,
just
actually, no.
assume...
You've been told. You've told her that he's been beaten up and left in the infirmary, so she assumes he's wounded.
I'm gonna just assume that I have this, but
Yeah.
the last page of his diary, I'm gonna
Yeah.
hand it to her and ask her what she makes of this.
Oh, give me a fellowship roll.
Just straight fellowship.
I think so.
Oh,
Oh,
fuck yes.
Oh, good job.
Amelia, she takes the diary. Her hands are a little bit shaky with it, whether it's from the fear of last interrogation with you guys or something else. You're not sure. But yeah,
Quite nice compared to the last time, I think.
You are in comparison, yes. She takes it. Her hands are shaking. She reads the name on the cover of it and goes, "Oh, this is Dangis, right?"
I nod.
He took a lot of notes in lessons. I feel like he was. Well, he's keen to pass all his. Well, he doesn't want to be held back another year, I think.
Then I'll help her open it to that last page, and like I said, I'll ask her what she makes of this.
It looks like it's been torn out. Has he taken the page out for something?
Oh no, I mean, do we not literally have the page?
You don't have the page.
Who does?
You don't know. The page was missing. You've got the
Okay,
indentation.
our copy of the page.
Yeah, you've got the indentation afterwards, which you show to her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you meant physically the page. Yeah. She says, well, it's a prayer. We all know it. It's covered in all of our classes. Really, it's a useful one to remember.
As far as I know, as we know, the that was written at some point, but it's not necessarily written 4 days ago or whatever, was it?
It's the most recent thing in there, and the fact that you still had traces of.
That's what I want to make
salt on
sure.
it.
Like it was
It
very
appears being
recent, but
written
probably
within
before things happened.
Probably before he died. You'd imagine he wrote it. But yeah, probably
Well,
within
I mean,
48 hours.
close to when he died.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm just gonna say, Dengir did not go to the hospital. He was found dead, and this is the last thing he wrote.
She tenses up and says, "Oh, by the Emperor, that's awful. What happened?"
That's what we're trying to find out.
She looks to you all quite sheepishly and says, "My lord, forgive me for saying this, but it's crucial that his name be added to the Wall of Honor. Any student that dies in the course of their duties here, as soon as possible, their name must be put there for memorial."
I've been asking for a screwdriver for what feels like hours.
I'm just gonna take the diary and kind of step back and let our family take over.
She seems relieved with you having removed the diary from her hands.
So
I hope Chris is able to hear this, because this is fucking good shit.
So
I'm still here. I just am doing. Yeah.
Good.
So, you feel that Drangia deserves to be written on the wall?
Yes, any student who who has perished in the course of their duties here needs to have their name on there. And anyone
Yeah.
who passes out successfully.
But surely if they die by dishonourable means that they don't deserve to go on the wall.
Yes, like those at she corrects herself before saying penis point, that those who go at penitence point, their name is never put on the list.
Yes. I suppose other things, such as those that harm other students or harm teachers or harm
Yeah.
even harm
exactly.
themselves. So you're so sure that Trangia deserves to go on the wall? He didn't do anything bad.
I'm certain of it, yes.
What if I told you that he was colluding with not just enemies of the Imperium, but enemies of humanity?
She tenses up and says, I wouldn't believe you.
Wait, I know this one. Aren't all enemies of the Imperium enemies of humanity?
Great response. Now tell us. Lucy? No. Jacoba? No. Sorry, what was your name again?
Grisha, my lord.
Grisha. What would you say if we have, through unfortunate scene of Drangia, he actually made a list of people that were not working just with him, but against him, and these people that were affecting, and they actually attacking humanity and therefore the Imperium. Now on this list, there was a very certain person. This happens to be in this room, and it's not one of us three. Not
4 BGCs with you.
Oh, sorry, it's not one of us four. And so who would that be then?
I don't know, my lord, but it would be important for you to tell me, so we'd be able to.
It would be you idiot.
You
goes-
fucking bellend.
She goes silent at this.
So, isn't it funny that you're on a list of someone that's going against the Imperium, and you're sitting here, pretending that you actually care?
She swallows something. It's, she doesn't swallow cyanide or anything, but she seems to tense up.
Oh. I was about to...
Amazing. Intimidate, okay. Sorry, I didn't realise that was an intimidate roll, because usually intimidate from a family was very shouty.
This is you have to see the thing of be more afraid of
For family
quiet
after
people.
dark.
Yeah. She is genuinely shaky. You see that her left hand with the burn mark is shaking quite dramatically, and says, Dangir would never have written anything like that, and I would not be on that list, I can assure you.
And yet it exists. So you telling me that Dangier's lying?
Ain't calling you a truther, or Samuel.
Yeah. No.
Where is this list?
Where's this list? The list is currently in the lab getting some further testing done on it, as there was not one but 2 blood spots on it. I'm staring at her.
She doesn't react to this.
No. And
she
what was
looks
interesting
at you,
about
clear in your eyes, and says, I didn't kill him, if that's what you're suggesting.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
I have
Yeah.
I gotta say this out of character.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, what was the one thing she said in response was that he would get his name on the wall, is honorable and whatnot.
Yes. Like, his death wasn't his own fault. His name needs to be put on the wall,
almost
basically.
wonder. Like I said, just getting my thought out there. I almost wonder if she may have seen him fail once and assumed he was going to keep failing, therefore killed him so he would get honor through death because he would never pass.
Oh.
But he was top of his class though, wasn't he? And nearly everything.
I mean,
Yeah, and he failed last time.
Yeah.
So
That's true. That's true.
and she was doing a good thing for him, just in a just a thought. Just had to get that out of my head.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think about my next line of questioning. I might step off. Tora, do you have anything to add for now?
I feel stupid.
I really like Trump's theory though.
Yeah. I was a little bit
I
stumped in
agree.
general work. I know you're saying that we have all the things we need, but I think I need something where it's like all laid out like a puzzle.
It's
gap,
difficult
the
for
dim skip
me.
didn't help.
It's difficult for me to talk about what is relevant and what isn't relevant, and what you have that can. That basically, you've got a whole fridge ahead of you, and inside that fridge is absolutely everything you need to make a banging sandwich. I cannot tell you what needs to go in that sandwich, but I guarantee you have the ingredients in your home.
Right now, we're making a pepper and
Right now we're making a
pickle
pizza.
sandwich. I'm gonna then, I'll kind of step over with a glass of water again. Say, if that's true, then we need your help regardless. We need to know everything that you can tell us that might be relevant to another student's death.
I'll answer
I'm
any
gonna
question
just
you
flat
have.
out explain. I'm gonna go in
Yep.
detail about every injury that he had on him.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah, if you could just
Give me.
I'm not gonna go over every single little
No,
thing
of
in
course.
person. Yeah, okay.
Give me an awareness perception roll, please. This is to see her reaction
Yeah.
to certain things being said.
And Tor allowed to roll as well?
I think so, yeah.
Would my thermal vision help at all to see her
She's sweating.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
any advance.
Ooh.
Christ, Amelia.
Don't matter.
Okay, Amelia. You list through various, particularly like the medical stuff. She is quite shocked at that. When you mention the shot through his temple, you see her, in an attempt at subtlety, move her right hand, which is unburned, over her left hand, which is burnt, and place them on her lap.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, her demeanor is quite shaken at this. She appears to be quite scared right now.
She said she burnt her hand on the candle, didn't she?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, Orfamio has many experience with candles. He actually has a lot of experience with candles. So if I just step...
But you didn't
think...
notice this, so...
Oh, a second.
Well, after I finish and I get that
so,
Amelia,
little...
you could probably send like a little
Candelas.
highlight on, yeah.
So
Candelas.
does Orfamio notice anything with his scholastic candelas rule?
I think Orfamio,
Did you misspell?
I may have misspelt those as candelas.
Orfamio, I think perhaps Amelia's vision aid thing kind of highlighted perhaps the sudden movement of her hand covering the other one, which you're obviously able to see. But yes.
Why are you covering your hand like that,
I finished
Gracia?
my report going over that with her, though, and I had to say, so, as you can see, it's troubling news. And we stress that any information you have that could help us would be valuable.
She nods and says, I'm an open book, but I can tell you I didn't kill him.
Is it the left hand that's burned or the right hand?
Yes. Left hand's burned, right hand covered it
Is
up.
there like kind of coffee table thing about the place where her hand is next to her seat?
Yeah, I think that could probably.
Also, I'm just gonna start speaking in binary to
BGZ.
BGZ about everything, just to kind of add to the freaking her out. Maybe
It really is.
Tora, come here.
As I like kind of step away.
Tora pulls a knife out and goes over to a family.
I'm just gonna
say to BGZ, he's like, "Oh, did you notice her hand movement?"
BGZ says, noted, suspicious.
I'm going to get her left hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put it on the table. Mrs. Tora, hold her wrist down.
Tora, hold her wrist down.
I'm going to reach inside my robe and bring out a candle, and I'm going to burn it, and I'm going to drop a little bit of wax on her other two fingers.
I like this. This is sexy.
You do so.
After it's burned, I'm going to say, Amelia, give her the same treatment she'd have gotten in the infirmary.
I'm not going to make you do a Medicaid roll for this. It's a very basic burn.
Just basic.
Amelia, even with your advanced medical stuff, the burn that she has got between her, hang on, where's my camera? Between her index and middle finger, is far larger than this candle.
Also, but didn't you say you used wax, not the flame.
I thought she said she burnt it on the wax.
She basically
grabbed-
tried to grab the candle as it was falling like an
Well, do you know
instant.
what?
Yeah, you
Fine,
you scored
rewind.
her
I
finger.
copied it as best as I remember
Right,
it
right,
was
okay,
done.
yeah, I know. I'm just
Retcon.
making the fucking note.
Yeah.
is all-
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to have been from a candle.
And do we
What you
have
can
Las Blaster on one of us?
I don't
I mean, we
think
could
anyone's got a
s-
las pistol. You could probably get one.
Wait,
Lothar would
no,
back in his
Tora was
room.
licking it last.
Oh my god! The poop,
You do have the
the
pistol.
poop gun.
I hate it. This is
So
the thing.
you-
I hate it. 100%.
Yep.
So if you have one, I'm going to go to your other hand.
Yep.
And I'm going to pin that on the table. And I'm
She
going to
is
say,
screaming.
yeah, and I'm going to say, Amelia, you have the steadiest hand here. Take a shot between these two fingers, similar to what the gun would be if she was in a defensive situation.
In the defensive situation. Okay.
Wasn't that what we were thinking she was? She got hit by a defensive shot back?
It appears to have been a burn in
Or
between
there's
these two fingers.
multiple possibilities of how it would have burned. Could have had her other hand too close to it when she fired. She could have grabbed the. There's a million possibilities.
In the wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just do something that's kind of averagey between them all, whatever that may or may not mean.
It's just, when am I the best shot?
You have the steadiest hands, is what I said. I didn't say you were the best shot.
Yeah, I'm not going to make this a ballistic skill roll either because you're literally holding down her hand.
Yeah.
Despite her thrashing, she is unable to really fend you off. You shoot at close range in between her
And
fingers.
she scores.
I was gonna say it's gonna. Amelia's gonna take a few moments before steeling herself that this is the right thing to do as well, because this is not. She doesn't like this.
No.
Hey, results are results. Just
I do have one in interrogation as well.
Yeah.
do you have any? I don't have intimidate. I have intimidate, charm, and command.
That's what you
So I'm
do.
commanding you
Yeah.
to charm her through your intimidating through your interrogating actions.
I think when you use Dangir's quite literally shitty las pistol, the muzzle flash in close proximity between her fingers burns them.
And is it like a mirror of the initial burn?
You hold up her two hands, and if this other one was healed using basic medical equipment, it would be.
Yes.
That wasn't. random.
Well. Looks like
Looks
somebody's
like-
been telling lies.
She
Looks.
is crying and blubbers out, "I didn't kill him."
What did you do then? No more lies, please.
She goes silent.
I will administer pain relief.
Oh, okay.
No. Tora would like to. Tora would like to step in the way.
What, you want pain meds instead?
Oh yeah, me and Tora get super high in this thing.
Oh, I got like a needle to inject on the spot, is what I mean. Like,
Yeah. You give her some sort of basic painkillers, and it kind of subdues it. It doesn't subdue her crying. Yeah. But she has gone silent at your question.
You have one more chance. You give us the right answer now, or we're going to send you to penitent point, and we're going to
Hey,
just.
if you didn't, you understand that this.
I understand
Is
nothing.
it,
I'm only
no,
here
no,
for the
I'm
Emperor.
talking to her. You,
Oh.
you understand?
A
This-
macadendrite goes over Samuel's lips.
This does not look good for you. If you are telling the truth, if you are not the one who did this, we need to know who did. You need to speak.
She make a charm roll plus 20 because you're making a very good argument here. Or I suppose command or charm, whichever one you think is most fitting. Or intimidate, I suppose.
I'm trying to find. I have one in charm, so
Go for that. Plus 20 as well.
I just rate 20, not plus, right?
Yeah.
I'll re-roll.
Use that
I
fate.
can't. Yeah, I can't auto succeed
No.
with fate there, right? Yeah.
I can. I don't know if that helps.
There.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Amelia, she takes a deep breath and she looks at you and says, "Before I speak, Tech Priest, promise me something, that when I tell you what happened, you will put Dangir's name on the Wall of Honor.
Absolutely.
Do you promise me?"
I looked to Orphamuel more so.
you know,
Because he's-
Bish, you
What?
don't really have. Well, I'll look at you. we don't completely have that out in on ourselves. I mean, sure, we could pull some strings,
We
get
can
some
do
things
it.
done.
Wait.
You're literally the Inquisition. You can get
I know.
draw a penis
Yeah.
on that wall if you wanted to.
Ah, interesting.
Tora pulls out a notepad for the first time in this entire interview and starts writing something down.
She takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, and her hands are shaking. She says, I walked past Dangir's room, and because he hadn't come out to see me for a jog, I went in there and he was dead. He was by his desk. He had shot himself in the mouth, I think. He was holding the las pistol. And I panicked. I didn't want it to be a suicide. I shot him in the leg and I brought his body to the bed. I held it up against the wall, and she mimics her hands where there is a burn mark, and she's right-handed, and where there would have been the las pistol firing, her hands are very, very shaky as she says this. She sighs and says, there was another student years ago in training. I don't remember what happened to him. I remember something bad happened at night. We were on exercise. I can picture his face as I turned to him calling out my name, but I can't remember his name. I don't know what his name was. No one here remembers. His name isn't on the wall of honor, and I didn't want Dangir to become like that. Forgotten. He deserved better. I found his psalm. I thought it was suspicious. I grabbed it and the las pistol and I threw them away down the toilet, and I thought that would be everything, and it would look like a murder, and his name would go on the wall, and we could move on and remember him rather than forget him. She exhales shakily. She hangs her head.
Stay here. You guys want to go outside, talk about this for a second? I say stay here. I'm pretty sure we strapped in the seat, but
I mean,
Like critter pooping.
yeah.
Trapped in.
You grab Lothar and
Like-
go, mate, you would not believe
Trapped
this.
I give her if I was gonna, before leaving though, like hearing the story, yeah, maybe I'll give her like a bad but understanding sort of look, not say anything.
Yeah, you guys leave the room, leaving her in there.
And on the other side, so what did she mention? The shots in the legs?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then she mentioned moving the body.
Yeah.
So was there anything of that sort that didn't add up with anybody here?
No, it seems
I feel like this has pretty much wrapped everything in a tidy little bow.
that seems to be
Apart
as well.
from-
That's pretty much what I theorized there beforehand. So
That explains why Dungir's weapon was last returned by Dungir. I should have fuck.
Doesn't explain why Willem showed up.
I don't think that has anything to do with
I think
it.
that might be unrelated.
That might be unrelated potentially.
I think we have bigger issues.
That's something different. Last time he showed up, he was like naked in Lothar's bathroom.
That's true as well, actually.
Yeah.
Oh well. I guess that's it. All done in a nice little bow.
Well, no. Now the question is, what do we do? Like, if
she's lied to the Inquisition. To our
and
faces.
if we take her story as it is, then as she didn't want, Dangir will not be on the wall.
No, and he shouldn't be on the wall. This is a hard place. If you can't handle it, you don't go on the wall. That's the law. That's the rule.
But just like she said, she would prefer him, and I would agree. Why to forget him? Why?
Yes. Because it's not the way that works. You've not been through growing up here. You look at the wall for inspiration. You don't look at the wall for false prophets. So what? They were friends. Doesn't matter. What matters
What does
was he
taxes
didn't.
have to do with any of this?
What only matters is that he failed, and he
Have you-
failed dishonorably.
Have you guys called Lothar over, or is he still like?
Oh, actually,
Lothar's having tea.
We
Yeah,
sent him a
just say,
Beeble message.
honestly, yeah, I did. I just poured myself a cup of tea.
Aw.
Yeah.
He's fixed the thermos.
I did. I fixed the thermos.
You're wanting to put one person's name on a wall of thousands and thousands of people because
And
one
give
other
me
person likes
another
them.
option. How can he be remembered?
He doesn't.
as a
Why does he
weakling.
deserve to be remembered? You come here to become part of the Imperium's strongest fighting force. You don't come here to kill yourself and still be remembered for it.
Don't come here to lose humanity either.
Nah. But that's just the way it goes. I'm going to put my foot down and say I'm not wanting his name on that wall. He does not deserve it. He does not deserve to be up there with people who have died on the fields against any sort of creature. He failed. And failure is not always the nicest thing, but it's true.
BGZ says Psalms of the Technosates 14:25. That which cannot survive the forge should not be smelted. What would you like to do?
As far as I'm concerned with Braysha here, she lied to us to our faces many times. She's given many opportunities to end it. Kill her. People have died for the Inquisition for less. Hell, we've killed for less many times over.
We unjustly, in my opinion.
And this
You
is the most just
guys
reason.
have killed for less, for random crap, yes.
Hey,
You've
Hey.
killed people that have attacked us.
That's different.
She's
There's a
attacked us.
reason.
She's attacked the Inquisition with her lies. We're not here to be nice.
think of
Yeah.
all the resources we've wasted in doing this.
Right,
Well,
I, for one, lost a grenade.
Yeah, what resources?
we've lost
Right.
the
Tora got shot in
universe's
the
finest
shoulder.
plumbers because of this.
Tora got stabbed quite badly. Oh no, he was
Quite
duck shot, wasn't it?
deservedly.
I
Yeah,
just-
but it never would have happened though if she just told us the truth. If she came and
just
told us
saying
the
that-
truth in the first place, she would not be in any trouble at all.
You have no understanding of why it
I'm
would be
empathetic.
difficult.
I'm empathetic to her with her friend, but this place isn't a place for friends. It's a Squalor Progenium. It's not summer camp.
It's a summer camp.
No, in fact, if anything, it's only
Yay.
winter. Is this summer right now? Actually, what's the current
Doesn't matter.
Where-
You're on a polar ice
season?
cap.
Oh, good point. Yeah, we're on the top, aren't we?
I'm not gonna fight you about the wall. That's not my place. But I don't like it.
Don't like it? Noted. Unfortunately, but yeah. Well, what do you want to do about Gracia? I'm also that we publicly execute her. We need to make an example about what happens when you lie to the Inquisition. Apparently, this place has gone too soft on them, so they're ready to lie on a woman's notice.
This is real heavy shit.
Yeah, but it's a tough choice because the lie was done. The reasoning behind the lie,
Wasn't good enough,
it's understandable though.
but still wasn't good enough.
What's the plan?
Well, let's call Lothar through first of all.
Yeah.
Oh, this tea
And
is
then-
so hot.
Let's call
When-
that
when-
moral guidance.
Yeah. Then when he gets
Yeah.
here, I assume you've been
Punch him
listening
in the
further
face.
out of character. We'll give you a
Yeah.
quick
Out
rundown
of
of
character,
the
yes, I've
situation.
been here
yeah.
the whole time, yeah.
And
We'll
I
give you
hope-
a quick rundown.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to go through it
You
again.
could probably
I don't
play
think anybody
back
here wants
the
to.
voice logs and stuff. Like
Yeah,
we usually
exactly.
do, Yeah.
You can play back the voice logs to the bit when you said,
Lothar
"Wait a
walks
second."
into the room and Tora goes to Tora wants to like just sock him in the throat. Bah! Just a little one, just a little bah.
Oh, okay, so nothing like actually damaging people.
No, just more of a you open the door and then suddenly bah.
Oh, just like a throat punch. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. What do you... So, what'd you come up with? Is she still alive?
And you fill him
She's
in.
still alive.
Confessed being dead.
Still alive, and she's confessed to lying to us and
I-
making us do this goose chase for no reason apart from
Amelia's
Covering
going to
the failures
explain it
of
in a
another.
human way to Lothar.
Okay.
I'm explaining it in a very Scholar Progenium way.
Yeah.
Right. Ironically, very robotic. But yeah,
Welcome
she
to the
did wrong
Imperium,
and must be
baby.
dead.
Do
Fair.
you think Individualism is alive and well in Imperium of 40k?
No.
What was that? Sorry. Sorry, what was that? Can we go
Whatever
back
that
to
word
that
is, no, I don't think it was.
one?
But yes, you fill in Lothar.
So
What's Lothar's reaction to
she,
this?
so she killed him. No, she shot him after he had killed himself, so that
He
he'd
wished
be up on the
for
wall.
his name to be on the wall so he wouldn't be forgotten because he had committed suicide. And due to her brain scrubbing and the previous event, the trauma of that is not fully gone and is part of the reason why she did what she did.
No wonder she acted the way she did. What do you guys think?
I made it very obvious. I want to publicly execute her.
I agree with the not putting his name on the wall. However, because that's the Scala, Virginia, whatever. That's their.
Oh, you
their
did
deal.
pinky promise though, Amelia.
I have plans.
I'm going to add you some corruption points for that.
That's bullshit.
To be
For lying
fair,
to teenagers.
I don't remember hearing Frog actually say, "Yes, I promise."
They also did not
I don't
exchange
remember
pinky.
exactly what I said. I think I said I promise at first, but then we kind of talked a little more, and then I was like, "We'll do what we can" or something like that. I don't know, but I can't remember 100% on the exact wording. But yeah, but I guess that's the question: should she be killed for her actions? Does she need to be?
Remember, we are the. I said again, people have died for much less, and we are the Inquisition. And obviously,
We
if we allow for
also-
this kind of mentality to be alive in the Scholar Progenium, that has a risk of then corrupting the crop, so to say.
At the same time, we have the ability not to kill.
But why?
There's
Not
a
always
lot.
necessary.
There's a lot of other fates
What
worse.
advantage do we get as throne agents and as Imperium for leaving her alive?
We don't need to gain to leave somebody alive.
But we gain
What
more
did
by
we
not.
gain from the random farmer on some backwater planet being alive?
No,
we
but
not
we gain
just
more.
kill them?
We gain more from her being dead, is what I'm saying, than we do from her
Do
being
we?
alive. Yeah, because if there's obviously a mentality, at least with some members of the Progenium here, that they can lie to the Inquisition and get away with it for what they believe to be their personal gain. Or
To
I
be
guess you could
fair, I
argue
believe she's
personal
already
friend gain.
accepted that she'll be killed for this.
Yeah, so then let's do it.
There are fates worse than death.
Seems
And
like she's already lived one.
Let's end it.
Lothar's, yeah. Well, they'd be giving her what she wants, though, right?
Don't care. We don't need her. He's doing more harm than good here, is my opinion. So I think he's doing more harm than good. She's wasted our time, resources. Because of her actions. Again, the system's greatest plumber is now dead.
No.
That's
Yeah.
the hill that you're gonna die on, huh?
Now, if we follow your logic, we should be murdering, not murdering, sorry.
Executing Torah.
Executing Torah.
No, but you know what I mean.
I was performing my emperor-given duties.
But
What do we benefit from Torah being alive?
Who watches the
That's a good
Watchman,
question.
Amelia? Who
I'm
watches
just
the Watchman?
turning the
Me.
tables.
to be fair to Tora, he did jump out of a plane and get onto a Skitari walking machine to like come and help us in a
Yeah,
fight.
he's been valuable, and I'm sure that Grisha has done many things during her training time that would be considered valuable as well.
But she hasn't done anything.
We kill
for us that's
her because
valuable.
she's not one of us. We keep Torah because he is.
Yes.
We are chosen by the Emperor. She is trash.
Even your Skitari is agreeing
Of course.
that Wiz cannot survive before she be smelted.
Well, first off, you don't
I
know
believe
what
that.
the fuck he's
I'm
saying.
about to say that. I kind of said that on the assumption that was passed
Because
on to us. I just
It's
realised.
was
not
that-
time
was that
for
passed
lunch
on to us?
just yet.
Sound like BGC's
We
agreeing
can
with me.
think about falafel later.
There's
All I'm
There's-
saying is, I disagree or dislike a lot of it, but I won't stand in the way of if she needs to be killed, she needs to be killed. The name doesn't go, that's up to the school. But I don't like this. I think there's better ways we can be.
I apologize that I cannot see a way of thinking in this case, but this is something I'm sure on.
Well,
I think that she needs to face punishment. I think there's more than one way to do that. If she's prepared to die, it means that she doesn't want to suffer with what she did. Why give her what she wants?
I'm not giving her what she. I'm not doing this to give her what she wants. She might want it, and that's good for her. I'm doing this to purely get rid of somebody that is publicly that has gone against the Inquisition, and it's going to be made public why she's getting executed, and that will be passed on to everybody here as Scorpigenium.
Sounds
I
like
don't
it's
care
more
what
about
she
the
wants or what she
Scala.
doesn't want. It is more about the scholar entirely. That's my entire argument here. That's about the scholar. We've seen that scholar has allowed at least one person to have anti-imperium sentimentalities by lying to us, the Inquisition. We cannot allow this to keep on going. This is about the Inquisition, is about the scholar.
Inquisition's about the Imperium,
Mm-hmm.
not the Scala.
No, I'm saying Inquisition and the scholar.
Oh, I misheard you genuinely.
Feed not the heretic, for he will come back later, and if you don't get him spayed, there'll be lots of little heretics all around the place.
I love that psalm.
Isn't that Nurglings?
Uh,
I think it's dogs.
don't say that word.
All right, sorry.
I've had a big week. I couldn't eat a whole dog.
So what are you going to do?
A part of me feels like we need to sleep on this one.
Okay.
gotta-
I would like the
We
record to
need-
state. I
We
vote
need to
we kill her,
inform the school. Like,
That
and
is true.
then
Only one
we
tutor
put
knows
a
that Dank is
willy
dead.
on the wall.
So, are we
I don't
all in
know.
agreement then, eventually?
I think not 100%. Yes, there needs to be punishment. No, I don't think it needs to be death. It
Or
might
would you
set
rather
things.
have punishment? Send it to penance point for a couple of years?
Lothar's gonna go silent. He's thinking on this one.
Why don't we all think on it? Everyone should go to bed, and we'll pick
Mhm.
back. I'm happy to end the session here. This is a good finishing point. We can decide on a punishment by next session if you guys are up for it.
Totally fair.
Okay, lovely. You all guys all head back to your rooms for a restless night of sleep.
Can we make sure that she's in some form of protective custody so that she
Yeah.
doesn't then?
I
Okay.
think you get. I think there's going to be an assistant in the room. Sorry, a attendant in the room with her 24/7. Basically, suicide watch. But yeah, she will be protected and awaiting the judgment of yourselves and the Inquisition.